Hey everyone, let me just let me pull up the live stream on YouTube. Shoot. I got everything else ready except for that. There we go. Okay, now I can see the chat and everything. Hey guys. Hey Little Red. Hey Jennifer. Hey Raymond. UK immigration geek. It's hard to say 10 times fast, I bet. Hi Diane. How's everyone doing tonight? Oh boy. Yeah, so I couldn't sleep and I haven't done a live stream in a little while. So, and I know that there's been like several tweets or whatever of Katie's, that I could go over and read. And then I remembered I gave commentary to a video of hers like months ago, and it was about Brittney. So I went back and I pulled it up, but she actually has her video up from October about Brittney. So I thought we could play that too. It's only like 12 minutes long or so, but it's very different than, the whole, I don't know, I guess stance she's taking today. I don't know. Almost sleep ending. That's what I swear to God, Laura, that's what I call them. Like I'll go like 4 or 5 days where I get maybe just a few hours of sleep or something a night, and then it's like it all catches up with me, and then I go on what I call sleep benders for like a day or day and a half, maybe just sleep. Is that Delaney? Is that okay? I don't have my glasses on, so I can't. It's hard to tell. But hi, Poderific. Remember when KJ swerved Twitter? Yeah. Did anyone really expect that to take though? I mean, come on. KJ flip. Oh God. Hey, Hypersense. I don't know if that's to me. If so, thank you. I love all you guys. Hey, Beauty. I'm not forgetting anyone, am I? Hey, Dr. Cross. Nice to see ya. Hey, Karma. If I'm getting anyone's names wrong, just say something because I don't have my glasses on. And I don't know. I don't feel like wearing them tonight. Oh, who? Katie's on Twitter whining about people trying to cancel. I saw her tweets earlier. About how silencing the media or some shit about politicians and the rich, or I don't Hollywood, or I can't remember exactly, but she was like blaming like all these elitist groups or whatever, just trying to silence the media, like she was some spokesperson or whatever for the media. Hey Rebel, hey blah blah blah. April, Angie Dare One, hey Liz, Shaz, cool. It's already Friday in Australia. Well, don't tell me what happened, so I want to be surprised. Where's Hip Power Murder Hour? That's a cool name. Hey. All right. So, anyways, I got a whole bunch of screenshots of her tweets and stuff. Just a few of them set up. So I just go over and read them. And mostly it's about the shooting or whatever that happened near her house, which is horrific. And I'm very sorry to hear that. And though I'm very sad to hear that one person was killed, I'm also kind of thankful that it was just one. I mean, I know that might sound horrible to say, but when you hear about these shootings, it could be, you always know it could be so much worse, but that one life though is not to ever be discounted. Don't take that the wrong way. Hey, Claire. Hey, Karma, Michelle, Tiny Dancer, Carolyn. So, all right. So what I have here, oh wait, I have to share screen first. Oh shoot, which one is it? Am I going to share? Okay, I just want to make sure I get the right one. All right, well, I'll give it a try. If it's wrong, oh, yeah, it is the right one. Okay. I thought this was funny. She just posted this like a few minutes. They right after I seen this one, I decided to go live. So it was like maybe an hour ago or so. But people are scared of my Twitter. I wonder is she saying that because like her Twitter engagement is like almost like zilch now? I mean, the most you see on her tweets now is like maybe 2 likes. Maybe I mean it's like even her haters aren't even commenting that much anymore. Just no one's like commenting at all. That's weird. That was funny. Hey, board lady. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. People are scared of my Twitter. Okay. All right. That's cool. Yeah, I'll go right in order. All right, cool. Oh, hey, Miss Salty. Yeah, it's here. It's midnight or 10 after midnight, whatever. I'm on at Eastern time, United States, like same time as New York City, basically. Okay, so this is her tweeting about the shooting that occurred by her house, and it is horrible. It really is. I don't know. It's the way she explains it though. It kind of bothered. I don't know. Maybe it's just my bias. I'll fully admit that. But today, a man opened fired at a clinic in Buffalo. The clinic, which is not far from Bond's elementary school. Why would you put that out there? I mean, if it really upsets you and bothers you that people call the hospital that your son's at, which it would upset me too. It's understandable. But if you know that upsets you, why would you say that this shooting not far from your son? I mean, you're basically telling everyone where he goes to school. It's crazy. Which is not far from elementary school, is also where Todd has gone for multiple issues. We are so heartbroken for our community, but grateful to our community police, first responders, sheriff's office, and school leaders who managed the crisis today. Two of our school, I hate to play semantics or whatever, or nitpick, but it's all the grammatical errors. It's driving me nuts. 2 of our school were evacuated. Tomorrow we get to talk to Vaughn about gun violence and how schools are generally safe, except when armed men open fire right by the middle school. Wow. I couldn't believe that. I'm thinking of all the staff at the clinic tonight and sending positive thoughts to all the victims fighting for their lives and to the family of the victim who died. We are a small community, 15,000. We are removed from the metro area. We aren't suburban. We are surrounded by farms and lakes. Things like this do not happen out here. It's going to be hard for our community to heal. That just kind of bugged me. Why can't where the hell? Okay, I guess I can't pull that up now. That just kind of bugged me. I mean, first of all, she's again, like I said, she's telling everyone basically where her son goes to school. And okay, fine, whatever. Her husband went there for issues. Okay, I don't think that's that big of a deal. But then where was it? Community police. Oh yeah, we get to talk to Vaughn tomorrow. Why? If your son is homeschooling, okay, or remote learning, whatever, why do you have to and you get to talk to him? Like, you've been waiting to do this. Like, yay, it's almost like we finally have a chance. We get to talk to him. That's what it sounded like to me. That's how I took it. And I was just like, what? That just sounds so weird. And then the way she words it, the schools are generally safe, except for when people show up. Like, really? Oh my God. And then the whole, we are a small community, 15,000. We are removed from that. Things like this do not happen out here. Things like this can happen everywhere. The geographical location in which you live isn't necessarily a risk factor. Unless you live someplace that completely outlaws or ban guns, then maybe you have a smaller risk. But in the United States, it doesn't matter where you live in the United States. This can happen. Your location, your community, your whatever you pay in school taxes or whatever, does not make you exempt from this at all. I just thought that was crazy. Holy shit, thank you, Miss Salty, for the super chat. Just because you are the funniest and love your channel. Oh, thank you. It's awesome. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. This kind of got on my nerves, this post. She never mentioned if they had. Oh, actually, I have a screenshot. She said something about it on Instagram, but that's coming up in a couple. All right, so okay, that's that one. And these were just some tweets underneath the post that I just read. Yeah, so someone wrote, I'm sorry, but why do you have to make everything about you? Can't you just focus outside of yourself? I've never commented before, but this was the last straw. And her response to that is, this happened here in my community. Well, no shit. We got that. We understand that part. I mean, yeah, by all means, make a post about it. I mean, if something like that happened in my community, I'd absolutely make a post about it. But I mean, if no one in my family if none of my loved ones were like directly affected, I don't know. I just, maybe at the most to say this happened, X amount of miles from my house. Because we had a mass shooting in the area here. It's like 5, 6, 7 years ago or something. It was like maybe 20 minutes away. It was in the valley. But I mean, I didn't know anyone that happened in that, but I made a post or whatever on my Facebook, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. My heart goes out to the victims. It's crazy, whatever. But I mean, oh my God, I lived like 20 minutes from this place. I used to go hang out there. I used to go drinking there. I don't know. That drives me nuts. Hey, 8 grams of life. I'm glad I'm glad you made this live. Right, yeah. He doesn't need that info. It's great, yeah. I don't know. All right, which one was that? There we go. Jeanette, you said Todd went there 3 times. What, to the clinic? Did she actually say he went there 3 times? That just seemed, I don't know if, I don't know. Like if I was talking about my significant other, I don't think I would be like that just descriptive. I don't know. It's just weird. Yeah, bored lady says, as an English person where even our cops don't have guns, it just sounds crazy when you talk about shootings and they are so common in America. Place must be terrifying to live. Most days it's not. I mean, I don't know. I just try to remember, like, the United States it's a big country. I mean, we have like 4 different time zones just on the continental part of our country, So that's really big. So yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of shootings, and there are in comparison to probably some other countries like, the UK, like you mentioned, but I don't know, just looking at it as like a population thing or whatever, and maybe the size of our country, it's most days you can actually walk, even upstate New York, you can pretty much go your entire day without seeing a gun. So we there's a lot of hunting up here. That's why I make that joke. Oh, I don't know, bored. I don't know. Okay, so this one. Yeah, I love this comment. She says, who authored this? I'm perplexed at the "it doesn't happen here" statement. It can happen anywhere since the changes in mental health services. Who tells a child schools are safe until an armed person shows up? This situation is awful. Prayers for all of those affected. And then she says, why did this tweet deserve getting blocked now? Because I don't think it's right to think this kind of hateful, murderous acts doesn't happen in rural areas. Sadly, it happens everywhere. And yes, because of mental health issues. I don't understand getting blocked, unsub. And Christopher there, the Icelandic horse, I tell you, there's been times where like within minutes, this account shows up with you get a hashtag. I mean, he's right on top of the ball like crazy. So just saying, giving you props there. That's awesome. It's funny. It's cool. Let's see. Oh, thank you, A Gramsy Life. The Critical K video. Because I'm working on another one, another video of her, and I also had just to get an idea for another video regarding her today, but I might need help with that one, so we'll see. I'm glad you liked it though. A lot of people seem to really like that one. I really didn't think that I was going to be able to put something, pretty good together for her, but surprisingly, she gave me a lot of material, so. All right. Okay, and this one. I don't think I'm talking about having it. This account's talking about Katie talking to her son. I don't think you should tell him. It may cause more anxiety than necessary, and it will likely never happen to him. It's an adult topic. Children get very emotional and afraid. It causes fear. Yeah. And I think you said he has a ton of anxiety already. He should feel safe. He's a child. Yeah. I mean, like my kids, they go to public school, and pretty much every school that they've gone to has been it's been a good sized school. So we've had the talk with them when they were younger and stuff. I mean, my youngest now is going to be 17 in a few weeks. So, like, I remember having, this discussion with them several times actually, but even then though, I don't know. I understand parents, making it a point to talk to their kids when something like this happens because it's a relevant issue then. But I'm glad that that's not how I handled it. Well, I mean, there hasn't been a shooting here around the schools anyways, but I'm glad that I made it a point to talk to them without a shooting happening, because I think that made it less stressful, less scary for them. I mean, I feel like if you talk to a kid like right after a shooting happened, then they're going to be, thinking this is going to happen. It just happened. It's going to happen. I don't know. I would worry about that. Hey, Bonita. Hey, Jeanette. Oh, yeah, that's right. Oh, yeah, you were in that video. Okay. Oh, yeah, the two discussions I included in the video, it was you were there with your granddaughter, right? I think there was you in the video. And then there was an account or someone else who came on the panel or whatever after you. And out of like everyone that I listened to in this video, in this panel with Kay, like everyone she just like commanded the whole conversation. She just took it over, and she just like talked them down to like a bloody stump basically. But you two were the only ones who like just didn't let that happen. And I was like, all right, this is cool. I want to put these in it, make something. I mean, I want this to stand out. So, yeah. Okay. Yeah. There was someone after you who both of you just like stood up to her really, really good. And I was like, that's awesome. Thank you, Pippi Longstocking. I love your name. That lady in the end, yeah, exactly. I think she was the last one, or I know she was like the last one in my video. Anyways, I think she might have been the last one on her case panel too. But yeah, the two of you, like when that lady too started reading off like the timestamp release or what, or the timestamps or whatever of when Kay was saying the things that she was denying saying, I was like, yeah. Okay. I hate how delayed it is on YouTube. Okay. So this one says, the sheriff said there was a restraining order against him at one point for threatening a doctor, but he was deemed mentally incompetent, so it was dropped. Care 11 reported it could be about doctors not prescribing pain meds. We are in this clinic system. They are strict with meds. They just struck me. Where in the country, where in the United States today, are they not strict with meds right now? And I want to say, like, the FDA, they have this like system or whatever set up, like, it's a federal system, it's not even a state system, where everything is strict with meds. I mean, any narcotics or controls. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, we've had a system like that here for God 10 years or more now, at least. I mean, yeah, I want to say like right around 2010, maybe a couple of years before. Okay, next one. This one, oh, this was the first post I seen from her regarding the shooting, and I just thought, important thread. I mean, it is important, don't get me wrong, but I mean, she's her Twitter thread or her Twitter account isn't really local. I mean, she has followers all around the globe. So I don't know. I thought that was just kind of weird to headline it like that. But it says, a mass shooting occurred today in my community. A man opened fire and killed one and seriously injured four at a healthcare clinic, a clinic my husband goes to. The man had threatened doctors there before. My heart goes out to all the victims. See, that right there, that was the perfect statement. If she had just left it at that, I mean, that was ideal. She hit the point, she addressed it, she made maybe a small, slight personal, comparison or whatever there, like a relation to the clinic, but she didn't make it about her. That was just it. I mean, it was good. Okay. We are devastated to hear this news, as we know the clinic and the amazing staff that work there. So it started off with her husband has been there a few times. Now, as we know the clinic and the amazing staff that works there, so now she knows everyone inside the clinic. Poor people are fighting for their lives tonight. Please keep these people and their families in your thoughts or prayers. This is small town and violence is very rare here. Oh, okay. And then she writes, my heart goes out to all the kiddos at school. The teachers are amazing principals and superintendent who secured the children by locking down the school until parents could pick up the kids. The shooting isn't far from my son's elementary school. She throws that in there again. Yeah, that's a good point, Laura. I haven't even looked at the situation on the news at all. I mean, anything I've learned about it is through Katie's tweets here. I have no idea. You think she would at least follow up with, I don't know, with something. Especially since, it happened right near her son's school. Oh, really, Carmen? I've been binge watching Chris Watts coverage recently because I just barely got to the point I could stomach to know what happened, and I swear Katie is as crazy as that guy narcissist. I haven't watched any. I think maybe like the Netflix series or show or whatever. I think I watched like half hour of that or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's a hard thing to watch. I don't know. Oh, this one. Oh God, this was just like one of the most rude, just asshole things. I mean, I don't know why, like, sometimes I read her shit and I'm still just kind of shocked. Like, wow, how can you say that? But I still am sometimes. But I don't feel sorry for the woman that put Gorilla Glue on her hair now that she's profiting off this with a GoFundMe and considering suing a company that states clearly it's a permanent industrial strength glue and should not be put on skin. I get what she's saying. I mean, it's kind of bad. It's kind of sad actually that like even like our shampoo bottles, they give you directions on how to use it. Just really, do people really need all these directions and all these warnings? And I get what she's saying, but I mean, you can, but you can still feel bad for someone. I mean, just how can you sit there and say I don't feel bad for them because they're profiting off of this horrible mistake that they made. Because it was a mistake. I don't think that the woman did this on purpose, thinking, "Oh, hey, I can do this and start a GoFundMe campaign and and sue a company and get all kinds of crazy rich and I have to get surgery." I mean, so you can still feel bad for them and be like, "Dude, that's what were you thinking?" I don't know. Yeah, she's mad that she didn't think of it, Lorette. Yeah, exactly, Dr. Krause. I was reading about the surgery she had to have done. The doctor, I guess, he waived his fee or whatever, and they had to design like a chemical solvent to basically, get it off of her and everything. And that he was saying, her hair's, pretty much ruined or whatever, and her scalp was really irritated, but the surgery for the most part, was a success, which that's great. Oh my God, that's great, But yeah, Dr. Krause says, because she looks like a poor Black woman. People out here being rude and mean while she had chemical burns. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, we all do stupid things, and yeah, okay, fine. On the scale of stupid things, it may be higher than most people's stupid things or whatever. But you can still feel bad. I mean, people like you're not going to make some really huge mistake in your life, and just going to like screw you or screw somebody else. I mean, come on. It's just you can feel bad for someone. There's nothing wrong with feeling bad for someone. And not for nothing, if she needed surgery, so she's going to be maybe healing or whatever for a while. Not to mention, I don't know, just so why not a GoFundMe? Why not? It's not like this money is going to be going to like, she's going to be, oh, hey, cool. Now I can go out and buy the Mercedes I always wanted. This is going to be to help her get through this, help her support herself while she gets through this. I mean, what is so wrong with that? Okay. Yeah, exactly, Loretta. Yeah, poor said fish doesn't want anyone else to get that money. Yeah, her hair and scalp refused. Yeah. I mean, Chris, there were a couple times just using super glue, and that's not even Gorilla Glue. Still pretty strong glue, but you get your finger stuck together or something, or get your finger stuck to whatever it is you're gluing, and and just if you don't get that off quick, that's gonna hurt like hell. Okay. Oh, so here's where she made a comment on Instagram about talking to her son about the gun violence. She says, "This makes me so sad. We got the email from the district and saw the 2 schools were locked down, then evacuated. A girl on the news said the littles were crying at school. I kept thinking about how those are kids in Bond's grade. I told him we need to talk to him, but he wants his special ed teacher to tell him about it. I hope you're safe. You must be traumatized." So apparently they're not even going to talk to him now, which that's cool. But he wants his special ed teacher to talk to him about it. So I think that the special ed teacher would probably do like 1,000% better job with it. So that's cool. Hey, Rainaroo. A little red. Oh my God, Vaughn said, no thanks. I'll talk to a nurse instead. Oh God. Yeah, beauty. It is telling. I don't know. I'm guessing though, as a special ed teacher, that they have maybe, well, they obviously have the education and the training of how to deal with and speak to, special needs kids. And yeah, a parent should absolutely, have at least a feel for how to do that with their own child. Maybe not a classroom full of kids, but at least their own child. But I mean, I don't know, maybe he feels just a little more comfortable about something. I don't know. But yeah, it is kind of weird. I don't know. I as a parent, I would think, wow, what am I doing wrong? I don't know. Hey, Cindy. Okay.
Siri here. Let me know if I can help.
I said, hey, Cindy, and Siri spoke to me. All right. Okay, so here's we come to Britney Spears. She this was a post, I think it was a few days ago, maybe. And she says, Britney Spears officially responds to the Framing Britney Spears documentary, letting fans know that she misses performing but needs time to be a normal person, also reiterating that she is doing okay and enjoying life. Finally, she lets people know that no one knows more about her life than her. My guess is she's trying to calm some of these insane conspiracies. People think they know a lot, but literally suggesting she doesn't control her social media. Okay, but literally suggesting she doesn't control her social media or that she's being held and is begging for help is creating unnecessary stress for a woman already stressed. Then I have the other part. Okay. Just because a YouTuber or article tells you this is true doesn't make it true. Let the courts handle this. She has an attorney now and will fight this. Help her by supporting her, believing her, and stop acting like you know more about her than her. She's a strong woman, one of the best performers of her time, and deserves respect, not insane conspiracies clouding her Instagram comments. Okay. Just keep in mind some of the things that she just said there in that tweet. I'm going to go ahead and go to the video. Just want to check comments first real quick. Make sure I'm not missing anyone. Okay. So there we go. Okay, so this video, it says October 20th, 2020, but she says here in the description, re-upload of a video that was edited incorrectly. So it sounds like maybe it's a re-upload of a video she had just recently uploaded, I'm guessing. And she says, this is an important video, and I really hope you will watch. Britney Spears isn't being cared for, and it's not okay. So, oh, you know what? Shoot, I didn't do the sound. I'm going to have to share screen again. Okay, now the sound will come through.
How are you guys? It is Tuesday afternoon, and we're going to do a Britney Spears update because we have not had one in a few weeks. And I was watching her Instagram yesterday, and I was just like, what am I looking at? This is really, I don't understand. And a lot of other people are feeling this exact same way. So we need to talk about it. But I am Katie Joy, and it's Katie B, like Brittney B. Yes. All right. I'm toxic. I know. All right. So please do me a favor before we get started. If you like this kind of content, make sure you do me a favor and subscribe down here. Also, turn the notifications on by ringing the bell, and then you will get notified when I go live and when new content uploads. All right. So we need to talk because Britney Spears was on her Instagram yesterday, and I am very, very rarely at a loss for words. And I was sitting there watching her, and I was very concerned. And it turns out I'm not the only one. And I was like, this is really, I don't know what's going on. And I'm watching her, and she's going back and forth, and she's walking back and forth in these, swimsuits. And she is talking about going to the beach, and she does this montage to a Madonna song. And a lot of people in the comments were like, what are you doing, Brittney? Take a look at what she said.
So this is the exact same bathing suit I wore like 3 days ago to the beach, but I said, hey, why not give it another shot? But while I'm at it, I just wanted to let you guys know the 5 most important things that you need to bring when you go to the beach: a towel, oil, sunscreen, a dog, and a hat. I'm gonna go to my jacuzzi now.
Okay. She's obviously having some fun, right? A dog, a hat, oil, sunscreen, a towel. And then she's like, I'm going to give it another shot. And then I'm going to go to my jacuzzi. And I'm like, what? And obviously, I wasn't the only one that was confused by this. I mean, I realize she's going through a lot, you guys, and there's this whole Free Britney thing. But I'm concerned that I'm literally at a loss. And obviously people in comments were feeling the same way because one person wrote, give what another shot? Another person said, it sounds so scripted. And then another person wrote, there's something seriously wrong here, but as everything else, no one cares, nothing to see here. And then someone else wrote, see, so strange. And the comments like that just
just looking at the comments here. Dr. Cross says, unpopular opinion, Britney Spears is likely borderline bipolar, not together. Why are we upset that people are taking care of her? I don't get this. It's not, from what my understanding, because I really haven't paid much attention to this whole situation, to be honest. But from my understanding is there are people upset that she doesn't have full control over her life and her finances and everything, sure. But for the most part, though, people, I think, are upset that her father is the one in charge of everything. Because I guess what Brittney is really just pushing for is to have a third party be the conservator and instead of her father. Like, that's all Brittney's asking for right now. And I think that the fact that the courts and her father have been denying her of having the third party. I mean, because think about it. It's your family. It's your father. It's your parent. You're a 40-year-old woman. I mean, it just, have a third party. I mean, you definitely don't want to mix that kind of shit with family anyways, when you're still, pretty much of your mind and everything. So, I mean, I get that. That part I totally get. But I think you're right. I mean, that any issues that she's having on top of the fact that she really hasn't had to live her life on her own. She has probably had like most everything done or handled for her. So I think it would be like a huge, just kind of a shock, really, if she didn't have someone controlling her or just handling her money, not controlling necessarily, but handling her finances, watching out for her in this way. Because I don't think she's really had to do this for herself before. I mean, that's my opinion, but I mean, I've definitely, if she's not, I don't know, if she's not, I hate to use the word not well, because I mean, you can have these issues and have them managed or whatever. But I mean, if you're to a point though, where you need a little extra help, then naturally, I don't think she should, be completely on her own. Okay, I'm gonna start the video again.
Continued. It was one after the other after the other. There was, I hope you're okay, but what's up with that sweatband? You seem a bit on edge in the video. Relaxing in a jacuzzi sounds like a good idea. Don't forget to set a timer. I'm just running with the idea that Brittney is a comedian, said one person. And then another person said, what in the fresh hell? So if that wasn't sort of bizarre, then there was this montage of her walking back and forth while in a bathing suit and switching bathing suits, dancing to Kokomo by the Beach Boys. And just watch this. Now, interestingly, I had to obviously take out the Beach Boys song. So I hope you enjoyed the music. It didn't necessarily match, but that video was like 4 minutes. I don't know. She was just walking back and forth and trying on different bathing suits. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. It was just people for the first time on her comments. Well, I wouldn't say for the first time, but people are starting to really worry about her. And it's not to a point of like, there is some people that were saying free Brittney, but I feel like people are really starting to figure it out that like there is something seriously wrong going on here. And well, it's cute and it's sweet. And it's obviously keeping her attention and it's keeping her feeling like she's connected. It's also making fans sort of confused about the status of how she's doing and who's videotaping this. And that was my question, was like, who's filming this and who is editing this? Like, who is putting out all of this for her? Because I don't have the sense that she is editing this herself. Like, I just can't see that possible. I mean, maybe, but this is a woman that has had most everything done for her, and all she's really had to do is perform. So now we're supposed to believe that she's editing this. So I don't believe that.
Now, remember in the Instagram comment of hers or post I just read, she was saying how, oh, please, like telling people, stop with the conspiracy theories. I mean, she has control of all of her social media. And here she is just a few months saying, who's letting her do this? Who's putting this out for her? Who's editing this? What is it? I mean, come on. And plus, I mean, why couldn't she edit it? Why couldn't she film and edit this herself? I mean, for granted, she's been the talent, the performer, but I'm sure somewhere along the line, she might have picked up a thing or two about, I don't know, just basic filming, maybe I mean, who wouldn't? I think it'd be difficult not to.
That I believe someone's filming her. I also believe someone's editing this. And then they're allowing her to put it on her social media. Meaning there are people in her life that are like, this would be a really good idea, Brittney. Try on all these different clothes, these outfits, these suits, and just walk back and forth and dance. Now, she looks happy, but this is like one of so many different videos that are like this, where she just tries on different clothes and walks back and forth off the camera. No engagement, no discussion. And then when she does talk, she seems sort of discombobulated, at times incoherent. She says she's going to answer questions, and then she does these videos that are, we'll just watch this.
Hi guys, so a lot of you have been asking me more questions in the comments, and I'm here to answer all of your questions. So the first main question that you guys have been asking me is, what's my favorite Disney movie? My favorite Disney movie is probably Frozen, just because I really like the fact that the two sisters, their relationship, and then one goes off and lives in a castle just because she can't deal anymore. My favorite movie is probably Ferris Bueller's Day Off. What time do I go to sleep? I go to sleep between 11:30 and 12. What's my favorite flower? It's a rose. And how old was I when I got my first car? I was probably 17 years old. And have I ever gotten a speeding ticket? I've had one speeding ticket my whole life.
Okay. So you mean to tell me the most asked question, Brittany, on your Instagram is what is your favorite Disney movie? I don't believe that. I mean, I understand they're trying to do deflection and they don't want to address the elephant in the room. And here's the thing that bothers me.
Why couldn't that be the most asked question? I mean, wasn't she on Disney? Didn't she start out in like the Mickey Mouse Club or something like that? I mean, why not? And plus, like, I think a large part of her audience, even now, maybe, well, no, maybe not now, but I think, well, yeah, a large part of her fan base. I mean, they may be older now too. They're not kids or whatever anymore, but I'm sure that they still associate Britney and her music to that time in their lives. So, I mean, why not ask that question? Why wouldn't it may not be the number one asked question, but I bet it gets asked a lot. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Oh, yeah, I'm working on one now. Actually, I'm working on one now, and I have an idea for another one, but I think I might need a little bit of help with that one. So just locating the clips that I need, because I know I've seen like almost all the clips. I can picture them, I can remember them, but I don't know where, and it's not Katie. So, I mean, I'm kind of sad to say this, but I pretty much know like a lot of her videos by now, like where I can find certain things, or at least the time frame at which I can find something. But the ones I'm working on involve Kay. So and she just does like the longest streams, and it's work listening to them. It really is, because you have to make yourself pay attention. So yeah, but she was on Star Search. Yep, Mickey Mouse Club, Disney. Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a perfectly understandable question. Really, I don't know. And I want to keep pointing out too. This video was from it was about the end of October. It's October 20th. So it's obviously Katie has since changed her opinion or whatever, which is great. I mean, I agree with the new opinion. You know, I guess you could say. Then I didn't really form an opinion because I didn't know much about it. But and I mean, like, you know, like you guys were saying in the chat there too, I don't think it's a bad idea that someone is kind of in charge of like the big things in her life, or just works with her rather. You know, takes her into consideration when the decisions are made or whatever, but, you know, works with her. And, you know, so this way, you know, she is able to have the funds, you know, to continue living her life and everything, and for her kids and whatnot, you know. I don't think that that's a bad idea. I mean, if I were in her shoes, me being me, I'd probably want that too. I don't know, but as far as her father being in charge, I mean, that's gonna be kind of weird. So I'm glad that I guess the court ruled or whatever today that he can be removed and a third party can now take over. So that's cool. Yeah, the play button, this, like I said, this is from October 2020. It's not there anymore. She took it down. And I saw someone, they made a comment or a tweet or something saying that she took it down because she kept being told how the silver in the background was like kind of bringing out her T-zone, was making it stand out more or something. I don't know if that's true, but can you point me to any dates of stuff where she refers to herself? Oh, as an empath. Oh my God. Oh, wow. There's so many. There's been a few recently. I'm pretty sure I have them. It may take me a couple days to find them, but yeah, I'll look through and see what I can find. Yes, I can't watching her videos anymore, but I love watching you. Oh, thank you, Valerie. Awesome. Little red play button's fault. Okay.
Brittany was in court and she wants her case to be more public. She wants there to be more transparency, and she wants there to be more understanding of what's going on, because she doesn't think that the sealed records are helping. And she got a small win in court, and they're allowing her to hire her own attorneys. So she's going to hire like this other law firm that she wants to work with. She doesn't want her dad on as her conservator. And you guys, I am finally jumping ship. I have seen so many of these videos now to know that whoever is taking care of her is not taking care of her. And she needs somebody else to manage because this isn't it. And her dad was so sick, and it's so clear there's so much greed here. And I know I've been so apprehensive to do this, but honestly, I've wanted to believe the best. I've wanted to believe this family has the best. I don't understand everything, but I also understand that there's a person who was capable of doing a lot of different things, who is now seemingly has a team forcing her to put out this weird content that is nothing like Britney Spears. Now, she could be struggling with her medication, and TMZ seems to be in the pocket with her parents or her dad. And is it really in the best interest of a 38-year-old woman to have her ailing father be in charge of her estate and her person? Is that really the best? Is that the best interest? Because there's so many financial entanglements here. Why are they so against putting in a third party who has zero interest in her financial life, who isn't connected in some way to the outcome and is more interested in her long-term health and well-being? I'm starting to really believe that the free Britney stuff isn't about that she should be free of this conservatorship, but that she should be free from her dad. And I am starting to say, okay, you guys, you've worn me out. I'm totally on board. We need to get Jamie Spears literally off this. And I'm starting to feel really powerless because, you guys, I was a huge Britney fan, and it's really heartbreaking to see this all play out. And I understand the complexities of this are so much, but the fact that she has a team putting all this out, ignoring everything, not talking to the public, it's the exact opposite of how Britney has been her entire career, where she's had this connection to her fans. And now it's like that connection has been fractured. It's being covered up. It's being glossed over. We're being lied to about who she is and how she's doing. She can't even be who she is, because you can't tell me that on a good day, Britney's like, yeah, let's just make a question and answer. And the most asked question is, what is my favorite Disney movie? Are you freaking kidding me? Look in her comment section. The number one most asked question is, are you okay?
See, and I think the whole reason why Katie doesn't believe that Britney's getting a lot of like the Disney question is because Katie doesn't get a lot of those questions. Because I think when she does the whole Q&A thing on Instagram, she goes through and picks and chooses, or I think maybe she even has people send in specific comments so she can pick them. But that she receives a lot of questions over the same question from people, something about the lawsuit or something like, why don't you just go take yourself off? So whatever, all kinds of shit like that. And I think Katie, because since Katie gets all that kind of garbage, therefore Britney must too, even though Britney isn't really on the internet pissing off everyone. Britney, if anything, has people worried and concerned, but I mean, people I think can still engage with her and have fun with silly little questions.
And I'm starting to ask that too. Are you okay? And how can I help? I have been, again, reluctant to jump on this train, but it's clear I have to join this movement. But I'm not going to join the conspiracy. I don't want to have it a conspiracy that she's not sick. I believe she is. I also believe she needs help, clearly. But I don't think the people that are in her life are the right people. And I don't think her dad is truly the right person to do this. And if Britney doesn't want her dad on her case, then let her have a voice. Even if she can't sign legal documents, she should have the faculties to know whether or not she wants her dad to take care of her. And if a patient doesn't want her dad to take care of her, how does a doctor say no to that? How does a doctor say, yeah, she's just, what is a doctor just ascribing like, oh, she's just out of it, so no, dad, stay on? Jamie needs to go. Jamie got super crazy with her son. He is banned from seeing her grandkids. He is clearly fighting tooth and nail for her to get out of this, and it's time. Y'all, we need to free Brittney. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments.
Lil Red, I think you're right. Wait, where's your comment now? Oh my God, she has to join the movement because it didn't get views the other way. Yep. So a video I wanted to show tonight too. Just because it's interesting to go back and watch this now, knowing everything that we know now about like Katie and Critical K but I wanted to watch the video where she was on K's channel. But I was listening to it though today at work, and it's just there's so much involved about the whole case and everything that I didn't want to air all that or whatever. But if you're kind of curious to see what I'm talking about, Kay still has it up on her channel. You can check it out. It's wait, let me look up the name. I hate to give her views though. But if you are curious, I suppose. I know I was. No, not that far. Yeah, it was this one. Kate provides a public statement from Kelly Long 4 months ago. That was the one that had what's her face, Katie on it. But it's funny though to watch that now, and because like you get it, you have a better sense of who Kay is, and obviously you probably knew who Katie was then. If you didn't, or you didn't have that great of an idea, chances are you do now. And then knowing just how so much of this is kind of rolled out or whatever, it's funny to see just how dismissive and everything Katie is when talking to Kay, and just you almost can kind of see Kay starting to get like a little annoyed about it too. And just I don't know, I was laughing my ass off watching it. I thought it was hilarious. I still haven't seen them arguing. Lil Red, I don't know when you left that. You might have left. Oh, you probably left that after I started talking about the Kay and Katie video. And then she literally just switched her narrative 100% because the movement maybe will sell better. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's another thing too. Yeah, that's what it was, seeing that comment that made me think of the Kay, remember the Kay and the Katie video. When Katie first comes on, she starts explaining like her channel and everything and what she's done with as a writer, just I don't know, just how she came about, whatever, the stuff that she covers. And she describes herself right off the bat as, I've always kind of just been someone who goes against the grain. And she says that, she explains it that way as a way to kind of describe or explain why it is that she took the view on the whole, the child case and everything, on why it is she took the stance that she took. She's kind of explains it as, oh yeah, I've always been like edgy. I've always been one to go against the grain. That's why I'm here on your show. That's what that's how it came across to me. And it's like, wow, just, you don't realize just how tacky that sounds, like you're basically admitting what everyone's thought. What video is this? Oh, it's the Critical K video where Katie was a guest or whatever on public statement or whatever from Kelly Long. It's from like 4 months ago. I mean, if you guys want to watch, I mean, I can pull it. I don't. All right, I'll go ahead and pull it up and we can watch it. But I don't want to get into the whole discussion over the case or whatever with the little girl and everything. And I don't really, the reason why I kind of just changed my mind about playing that one tonight is because I didn't want to give a platform for further discussion about that. So just let's just pay attention to Katie and Kay. Okay. All right, I'll go ahead and share it.
He's done this.
Did you know that the average adult has 5 to 20 pounds of toxic poop in their body at any given moment? Seems
Awesome.
crazy, right?
7 invasive.
It's the same.
You're a grown. Why go wrong with him?
That's not on the side of the one. Right?
Turn your lady. First of all, take the. I love your shirt. Cool.
Oh, thanks.
I'm
a big just
Zeppelin fan.
Yeah, I'm a huge Zeppelin fan. Snoop Dogg. Everyone always like laughs because I'm so not fashionable, and I'm like,
They say that to me too. They say I dress frumpy. They say I'm
like
frumpy.
I'm a mom and I work from home.
Good for you. Good for you. Hats off to you though
Wait a
for
second.
for having the courage to go against the hats
And I work
to. They say I dress frumpy.
not fashionable.
Zeppelin fan.
Yeah, I'm a huge.
I'm
a big just
Zeppelin fan.
Yeah, I'm a huge Zeppelin fan. Snoop Dogg. Everyone always like laughs because I'm so not fashionable.
I never noticed that before. I'm a big Zeppelin fan, Snoop fan. Okay, great. Awesome. You can be a fan of both, but just how did that come into your mind? Yes, I'm a big fan of Led Zeppelin and Snoop Dogg. I mean, I don't know. That just sounded weird to me.
And I'm like,
They say that to me too. They say I dress frumpy. They say I'm
like
frumpy.
I'm a mom and I work from home.
Good for you. Good for you. Hats off to you though for having the courage to go against the onslaught of, like, I've compared it to the World War Z, the zombies crescending and coming at that's how I feel. I know they're going to come at me. And I've even said to Kelly, let me stand in the place of that. Let me put my K shield up. You stand behind me and let me protect you from these zombies. What say you, Katie? What say you about all this? I'm going to give you the floor.
Well, I mean, do you watch my channel? I just have a history of going against the grain. And I used to do a lot of stuff with anti-vax and anti-woo and anti-pseudoscience. So I've gone against a lot of very, people that drink turpentine and you know what I mean?
And eat Tide Pods.
Yeah. So that's, what I'm used to. And so I have no problem like standing up. I also have a keen interest in child abuse and stories related to child abuse, but I've also always covered GoFundMe fraud. And when I saw this, it was like, it reminded me immediately of that GoFundMe where they the homeless guy in the last $20 and, they raised $400.
Oh my God. She never covered GoFundMe fraud. She never covered it. There's a few websites that pretty much host her entire online writing catalog. There's at least one site that I know of that hosts links to all of them. Only they link into Pathos, which so all the links are dead. But it's still a list of all the titles. And I did a keyword search on this several times, just in case something changed or whatever, for GoFundMe or GFM. I tried several, and nothing came up. I think one article came up, and it's because she mentions, or in the title, she mentions a GoFundMe, but she's not talking about it. Just like that's a part of the story. And after that, I tried looking at some of her other writing, and I found one article where she discusses GoFundMe fraud of one campaign, and it was all information that she got from another outlet. So I mean, none of this was anything she covered ever. And she talks about it like she does it, like she did it all the time. Like this was like one of the main things she wrote about. No, like I remember her when she was writing back then. I remember I don't remember any of this. I don't remember her writing about GoFundMe or anything. And every time she talks about GoFundMe fraud, she brings up the same example of it was a young couple where they ran out of gas, and there's a homeless guy. So the homeless guy gave them his last $20 so they could get gas so that they could get home. And then they made a whole story about it. And then all these people donate money. And I guess the whole thing was a scam from the get-go. Okay. And she brings this same exact example up every time that she discusses this. Like that's the only one she knows about. So she's saying, oh, there's all kinds of crazy GoFundMe fraud and everything. But yes, she brings up one example every time. Only one. The same one. Just, I don't know. Gets on my nerves. And she's not wrong. I mean, there is a lot of, I'm sure that there are a lot of, just fraudulent campaigns, and there's a lot of bullshit stories out there, whether it's, the fake cancer or whatever. But I mean, I don't think that it's rampant. And I think that any campaign website is going to have something in place where once they are alerted, they can find out and take care of it. I mean, I don't know. It's like she wants to just ruin it for everyone because like this one freaking young couple, lied about getting $20 for gas one night.
$400,000 for him to get a house. And there's all these questions about, was it really a true story? And, she's suddenly, the girl's got all these expensive watches on, and they just got greedy. And it took longer for that one to unravel. This is like unraveling in a matter of weeks. And I spotted it just because I remember, and I don't want to say, I feel like when you say this, people automatically believe that you don't believe this little girl. And here's the thing, I feel like his sycophants, and that's what he's basically created, is sycophants. His sycophants are brainwashed to believe that if you don't believe him, you don't believe the little girl.
Right.
And they don't understand narcissistic abuse, and they don't understand parental alienation. And I mean, I had somebody from her, somebody connected to Kelly. I don't know who. It was under a sock account, but they basically were talking about how they had a whiteboard, and they were teaching the kids with a whiteboard about what to say and how to act. And, it's I remember seeing that video, and I remember thinking the way that the girl was acting in the beginning, where she was shaking her head. I was like, is she acting? It didn't seem authentic in that part. I was like, it's like a movie. Cause she was like, no. And then she's running away and coming back. And I was like, this doesn't seem real. And then I did a live stream on my vlogs channel, which I'm on right now. And I was talking about how I'm a mom. I have an almost 8-year-old. And we were talking about how kids can get a little bit bratty when they don't get their way and they don't get what they want.
Of course they can.
Yeah. And so now I'm everyone's like, you called Sophie a brat. And I'm like, can kids not get bratty?
Yes, I can be a brat.
Yeah.
And this is why I asked a gentleman recently who was on my show, have you raised a daughter? Do you know what it's like to raise daughters? They can be brats. Sometimes,
what I noticed was with her language, it was way too mature for her age. It sounded like words that she had been spoon-fed by an adult.
Yes.
It's my body. I have my own rights. And the way that she was describing things, and then she would say I don't want mommy to know. But then she also said, but mommy's there when it happens. So she doesn't want mommy to know, but then you know, there was
That's
just
an excellent point. You're putting the focus right there on a glaring inconsistency. We're being told that by Mike, okay, that she held. Now, this claim has not come directly from Sophie. I want to put that right out there. This claim comes from Mike that
It's
mom held a knife. Mom.
I just saw. Oh, I shared Illuminacy's video where she does like a mock or like a parody of these two together on the panel together, and it's hilarious. You guys should check it out. There's a link for it in the chat now. What I just seen? Someone, where'd it go? Oh, Christola says, this is what Mr. Nutt was talking about, Kay. It's insane that she wanted to take credit for calling her a brat first. That's kind of what brought me to this video, because I was going to put together like a little clip of the timeline, the brat timeline, I guess you could say, of who said it first, where, when, you know, and then like when Kay said it and everything. And like I can't find any example of Kay saying this any time before this live stream here. And I heard her say it in that one, I think it's Queen Bee's channel, I think that was her name, where Kay says to Will, I was the first person to call Sophie brat, which is kind of a weird thing to want the credit for, to be the first for. I mean, but I digress. You clearly weren't. Like, it was off by like 2 weeks. Because I even asked the subreddit, I'm like, what date exactly was it that Katie did that live stream? Because the earliest upload I can find is September 1st, but I'm not sure if that's the date. And it turned out to be the day before that she had uploaded the live stream. And this video, this live stream with Kay and Katie, was on September 14th. So I think it's August 31st. I think there's 31 days in August. So whatever, but we'll say 31. So from August 31st until September 14th, it's how long it took for Kay to jump on board and call her a brat too. But yeah, she did it first. It's funny. Okay.
Mom held a knife to her while 4 men attacked her, molested her in a hotel room. But yet in the viral video, I don't want mommy to know. So which do we believe? It's about it. We're being psychologically manipulated right along with Sophie, in my opinion.
and I think she believes it because
He's made her believe it.
he made her believe it.
He's been working on her for 5 years. He's been doing this for 5 years. And I revealed today in my group that he was working on Kelly herself in the beginning of their relationship. In the very beginning stages of their relationship, he had her convinced. He's like Svengali. He had her convinced that she had been sexually molested.
Oh, they're convincing their followers that I'm a pedophile.
Well, let them do that though. Let them.
I don't care. I'm like,
let them
dude,
do that.
that's deflection.
It's absolutely deflection. And like my co-admin, Catherine always says, guilty dog barks the loudest.
Yeah. I'm like people are like, well, why are you bringing it up? Why are you like pointing it out? I'm like, because I'm like the 8th person he's now accused of being a pedophile.
Well, next thing you know, I can't wait for his next claim. This is what I wake up every day and I say, what's he going to claim next? Who's he going to accuse and what's he going to claim next? I mean, what's next from him? What's next?
I was a pedophile and I'm a Satan worshiper.
They've said you're a Satan worshiper?
Yes, well, I have a hate group, like once you get to a certain, you might already have one because of what work you do.
Oh, I've had multiple. Yeah.
When you do this kind of work, you get people that really think you're an asshole and you're profiting off of trauma and trauma's not tea and whatever they say. And, my hate group just follows me wherever I go. And so they infiltrated this group and they reached out to Michael to the point that Michael joined my hate group.
Of course he did. Of course he did.
I'm sitting there thinking like,
of course he did. He's so busy dealing with a traumatized child who was GR'd by 4 men.
Yeah.
That he has time to join your hate group to
right.
figure He knows I'm coming for. I announced my intention to come for him. I announced it right on my business page. I said, I'm coming for you.
I saw that.
I've been facing the onslaught ever since. And he's so concerned about that. That's another thing I want to pose to the audience. If you were a parent of a child who was so traumatized by
I just did a live and said this.
I can skip through some of this because I didn't realize that she was on the panel for an hour. I thought it was just like 10 minutes or something, because I remember like the end there, like Little Red brought up when they started talking about Chris Watts. Kay started like basically making her argument about like how, like, I don't know, Chris wasn't like to blame or some shit. Like I don't know exactly, but, and Katie started getting uncomfortable. And I thought that happened like kind of quickly and it just ended abruptly. It's been a while since I watched the whole thing, but so if it's okay with everyone, I thought I'd just skip through here and there. If not, all right. If it's okay with everyone that I just, skip through periodically here and there, type 1. If not, then type 2, obviously. But you never saw. Okay, I can leave it on. That's fine. Yeah, skip it. Fine. Okay. Well, tell you what, because I think the arrow, whatever, skips like 5 seconds or something, or 10 seconds at a time. So I'll do it just periodically. So.
very recent experience. Yeah, very recent experiences. Okay. If you're a parent of a child who very recently was GR'd trolling the area, one of them is a social media, and
no, this is to join all of these groups and to monitor spies and to has autism and has disabilities. And I can tell you one thing, I'm not worrying about, what other people are saying about me, about my story, about my son, because I know my son has these things. But I feel like when you're a liar, you have to watch what everyone's saying because you're waiting to be
looking over your shoulder.
Yeah.
You're looking over your shoulder to be taken to task.
Yeah.
And
I gotta throw it in there. I could literally pull up a video of mine right now showing all these screenshots of Katie flipping out over anyone just even mentioning her son or any of the ailments in which she has talked about repeatedly over and over again and just like drilled away at. I mean, I think so many people know about her son's conditions and or whatever because she just doesn't show. Okay, I'm all right. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I saw a question though somewhere. Maybe not. Okay, maybe not.
And people like you and me are taking him to task, and he's not. I
know they posted me in an article. I was like, I mean, yeah. There's an article about it now on Mia, and it's getting picked up more.
Because you're opposed to his narrative
for being a liar, and I have a channel with 130,000 subscribers.
So yeah, you're going to be an easy target. You're going to be
and it's because of the platform being a little bit larger. It's I used to be a writer, and so I have relationships with bloggers and writers from different outlets. And
he was a blogger. Did you know that?
What'd you say?
He was a blogger. Did you know that?
I found his blogs, and they're crazy.
They're crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
off the trail
about death. And meeting Kelly in a hotel and finding out she might have died or in the angels, and it's out of body experience.
Yes, his blog is a glimpse into his psyche, and it's a scary place.
I feel like he's got some sort of untreated something.
Well, I can tell you, there's.
I keep hearing schizophrenia, but I don't know.
Yes, there's something there with the family. Wait a minute, I'm getting some feedback. What's the feedback? I want to say though, Katie, I want to say, because I want to draw you into this discussion, okay?
Yeah.
That I'm about to start. I want to say, and I want to see if you agree with me.
Okay.
Anytime you look at a child that's caught between two adults, anytime you look at a custodial situation where you have mom and dad, you have children, 3 in this situation where you have mom and dad and they're warring for custody of these children.
Yeah.
what are the things that you look at and you look for? I'm going to tell you what I look at and what I look for, and then I want to hear what you have to say. When I look at situations like this and I look at who's fighting for what, I look at who is the stable parent, who is the consistent parent, who has stability, who's providing structure, who's providing normalcy, who's providing a predictable routine, who's providing the day-to-day stuff, the groceries, the supercurricular stuff, extracurricular stuff, who's making sure they get to school on time, who's making sure they get picked up from school, waiting at the bus stop when they're in a certain age group. Who is the one that is consistent, stable, working, providing an income, cleaning the toilets, providing the tacos on Tuesday? Who is that consistent parent? And who is the parent who is outside, who has chosen to be outside of that? Because I talk a lot on my channel about the nuclear family. And in my opinion, when a nuclear family blows up, generally speaking, it's the mother that steps in to pick up the pieces, which is why you see in the African-American community, it's a very matriarchal community. It's very matriarchal. The mother is usually the one to step in, pick up the pieces, raise that kid, and provide some normalcy and stability for them.
I think there's a connection that a mother has that's different.
Primal. It's primal.
Yeah.
It's primal.
I mean, and if you think about it, just my son he has tons of health issues, and if he wants to play and have fun, he wants nothing to do with me.
It's hedonistic. Children are hedonistic. They think of themselves and themselves only.
He wants to play with daddy, but if he's not feeling good and he needs to go to the hospital, or we have to do something, it's mommy. So I am thankfully in a very good marriage, and I don't have to worry about that. But it's if that happened, I know I would have to fight my husband, I'm sure.
Right. And you said the key words there. You're in a good marriage. You're in a marriage where you're a mom and you have the dad supporting and bolstering you and keeping you strong.
He's actually a stay-at-home dad right now. So it's like incredible. It's been a shift because I was the stay-at-home mom for a while and did all of his care for like 5 years. And so
he stepped in. Yeah.
And so he recently got laid off because of the pandemic. And I'm
sure what he's done as a stand-in and stay-at-home dad is to provide normalcy, stability, structure, predictability. Children need predictability. They need to know when they wake up in the morning, their day is going to be almost the same as it was the day before.
Yeah, and they're not going to have that with Michael.
They're not having that with Mike. These children
I heard they might not even be in school right now.
They're probably not. I would not be. He didn't even know her school schedule. He didn't even know when she was supposed to be in school, at what time, and what. You can hear that on the Zoom call. That's the irony of all this leaked stuff.
Oh, damn it. I'm an idiot. Sorry.
And inconsistent about his child support. It's often been late. It's been delayed. It's been less than he was supposed to pay. I want you to put yourself, because there's a lot of gals out there who are in Kelly's shoes. You have a couple few children, you're divorced, you're a single mom, and you're waiting on child support, and dad is only paying, I think he pays $400 and something a month for 3 kids. If you're a mother of 3, and I am, I've had 3 kids, minor children under my roof before in the past. I've had 4 minor children under my roof before in the past. $400 a month doesn't cut it. It doesn't even come close. It's not even 10% of what you need to provide those kids with a good life. So I want you to put yourself in Kelly's shoes. She gets his meager child support that he pays sporadically and doesn't always pay the full amount. She has to make up for that. She has to fill in that gap. She not only has to fill in that gap of what is financially needed for those kids, she has to be the stable, consistent, reliable one who gets up with them every morning and goes to bed every night and puts them to bed every night. He is not the one who's done that.
I'm looking in the chat, and what bothers me is somehow people have decided that she needs to be drug tested, and she needs to, She has been.
And
she's been drug tested, and she's gone through psychological evaluations. Both he refuses to do.
Yes. Where's his drug test? I asked on my show last night, where's yours, Mike? And not the hair you submitted to the lab and claimed it was Jack's. I want yours. And I wouldn't even believe him unless I saw him pluck a hair from his head and hand it over to the lab technician.
Yeah, he's full of shit.
He's such a liar. I don't believe anything he says now to this point. I would need visible proof. At this point, I would love to see him undergo a poly.
He likes, and what I can't fathom is what is he going to do now that he has the kids? What is he doing? What's the end goal here?
Oh.
I think he's already hit his end goal. I think there's a lot of chatter about what he's going to do now. What I think he's got the money. I think he's just waiting it out till the end of October, and he doesn't really care where Sophie goes. He doesn't care if she goes back to his mom. He's got what he wanted. He got what he wanted. If I'm going to go with you on this being a GoFundMe scam, he got what he wanted. He got the money. He's going to take the money and run.
That's why people have to report it. And they need to report
it. What is GoFundMe going to do? I don't know.
They can for sure do it. It's also wire fraud if you are accepting
I'd love to see the FBI go after his butt.
He could very well, because of the way that this is written.
I'm not even muted. Okay. That is an excellent question. Where is it now? Kimberly asks, are these two still friends? No, they're not. Katie doesn't really say much about Kay. I mean, she'll bring her up or mention her or whatever, but she doesn't say anything about her, good or bad. She did though, like not long after this, she was talking a lot of shit about her in this one Facebook group. But other than that though, Kay has had a few words about KJ that I know of, just a couple of times though. But what I thought was funny was just recently, Kay did a video. I can't remember the name of it now. It was it was a live stream she did. Well, I think that's all she does is live streams though. But she was talking about how the little girl's like medical records or whatever, all this stuff that came out. And Kay was trying to say how she didn't share these records because she didn't think it was fair or she didn't think it was right. But Katie Joy had shared all the records. And I heard that. I'm like, oh, please. Oh, my God. No, you didn't share them because you didn't think of it, or you didn't have it connect in Texas or whatever. You didn't have a subscriber or someone you were talking to who lived right by the courthouse who would go and get them for them, or you didn't think of it, one or the other. Because let's face it, if she thought of it first, she would have jumped on that shit. Oh, my God. Hell yeah. When you just look at all the shit that she has like released already of other people, of everyone else, I mean, she would have let that go? No, absolutely not. And after Katie had released these records, or not all the records, but some of the information from the records, Kay had done a stream talking about it, about how wrong Katie was to do this because she didn't speak to the mother first. She didn't get permission from the mother to release much of what she had obtained. And I just thought that was so funny just to hear from her, because I mean, it's because what she would have waited for permission. Come on now. I don't know.
This is written, and the lie, the fraud of this is the lie
Yeah.
used to get the money.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I mean, he very well could end up with an indictment for fraud. That would not surprise me at all.
And not only that, but there's certain YouTube channels who have facilitated.
Oh my
this.
God, 10 to life. I would like to literally throw in the trash.
Well, you know, they're paying her. They're
I know
using
they are.
GoFundMe funds to pay her, and
Yeah.
she's fucking up the GoFundMe funds. She's getting her cut.
Well,
of
they
that
paid the
GoFundMe.
Daily Mail, and they paid that Channel 27.
Mhm.
They paid for, this is what I just talked about on my channel. If you got the money, why are you paying for media coverage? It's because you want more money.
Right.
And you want fame. And I'm not convinced. I think he and his wife want fame.
But Annie's a lot like him. She's overtold. She's overtruthed. She's crossed a boundary. She's violated.
She has violated laws. She has broken laws.
She's broken laws and violated laws. So she's
And I
gone.
hope Kelly sues her ass.
I can assure you that, yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, she's not. And, you know, I get.
We spent so much time going into the legal components of the amicus attorney video, because somebody who was working on her legal team, who's now been fired, and it was her old previous lawyer, said that this interview, nobody was in the room with her. And they were like, how did this get recorded? Did Michael wire her? And if Michael wired her, he broke the law. And then that conversation is confidential and protected by the court, and publishing it is illegal. And the amicus attorney doesn't work for Michael. He works for the little girl.
Exactly.
So she broke privacy laws. I can't believe that video is still up on YouTube. If you have communication with Kelly, you should have her post and do a privacy violation.
Oh, trust me, we're just getting started. We filed one of many. I think we did 12 alone. But understand, Kelly this woman is very fragile.
Yeah.
Right now. She's scared. She's stressed.
She's scared for her life. People want to kill her.
She's scared for her life. She's stressed. She's mentally and emotionally and physically fragile. And that is exactly where Mike wanted her to be. He's got her. This is all about her.
He wants revenge on her.
He wants revenge on her because he's still, love and hate are not opposites.
No.
He still loves her. He is still in love with her. He wants her attention. He still wants her attention, and he's got it. And now he's got it in the worst, most heinous possible way. And like I was saying,
what is Courtney's role in this? What is she doing?
She's stupid.
She's on drugs.
She's a moron. I mean, she's a moron. Is all I.
I'm looking at the chat here with you guys, and you talking about Annie there. There's a video or a stream that Kate did recently. I've been pulling parts from it and everything for a new video. And it's the man baby one or whatever, but she mentions Annie's name several times throughout this, and I haven't even watched the whole thing. I'm thinking like an hour and a half or something, an hour into it, like not even halfway, I don't think. But she mentions Annie's name like a lot, and every time she mentions her name, it's she's got to make a comment about like her looks, or just like her whole fascination or obsession with Annie is that the chick is prettier than her. Like, and at one point she was talking about Will, and she says how Will used to think that how Kay was right all the time, and then suddenly now Will's thinking Annie's right. It's like, dude, really? It's it's so transparent. It's like, at least try and hide it, you know? I don't know. Yeah, the both of them really just don't like Annie at all.
Is all I can say. She's a moron. You're willing to play second fiddle. Here's what I'll say. I would never get involved. If I was in my 30s, I would never get involved with a man who already had 3 kids. Hell no. F no. Hell no.
I think no. I think the mom did she maybe have a child that passed away?
I don't know, because I haven't really dived into her, but what I've seen and what on the surface, you've gotten involved with this guy who, but at the same time, he's very persuasive. He's very charming and persuasive.
He does not charm me. This is the thing that like bothers me about him.
All these people.
I know. I don't know how, because when I look at him, I'm like, you are so full of shit. I'm sorry.
He's icky. I see smarmy. When I see him, I know that face. That's smarmy. It's smug.
He talks in circles. He never answers questions. He's doing things behind the scenes, like orchestrating some TikTok lunatic to bring guns to the courthouse. And who are all these advocates? I did a tweet today. I just got to read this to you because this pissed me off. And I was like, I'm so sick of these advocates. They're not advocates. You guys are not advocates. You're doing the exact opposite of what advocates actually do. So I said, if you are not an advocate for a child, if you call for guns to barricade at a courthouse, post confidential meetings between a child and an amicus attorney, publish private journal entries of a child, discussed the SA of a child while posting their photo and using their name. Publications and media never publish names of victims or crimes when they are minors, ever. The media never shows photos of alleged victims, and this is for the victim's privacy and protection.
Yes.
And then I posted a UNICEF guide on how to report on children, which includes respect their dignity, make sure that you don't post their image, and don't report it if it could at all put them at risk. And he has continually put her at risk to pedophiles by sharing her face and her story, because you know his group is filled with them now.
Yes.
You're not one more. I was on a roll. You're not an advocate if you release private medical records of a child. You're not an advocate if you send death threats to judges, attorneys, family members, CPS workers, legal aides, police officers, reporters, or anyone not agreeing with you. You are not an advocate if you call for people to find a mother in protective custody at risk for serious harm while she's caring for her children to go and get her. You put her children at risk as well. You're not an advocate if you want to physically hurt people. And you are not an advocate if you take the side of one parent over the other. There are no sides in the well-being of children. You are not an advocate if you rely on hearsay to form your opinion, and you are not an advocate just because you say you're an advocate.
Right. It's a claim is just a claim. You can claim you're an advocate, but do your actions prove that? I want to back up into what you were saying about he has, even within his own group, especially within this Facebook group he's created, this quote army, he has exposed her to pedophiles and abusers who get off. Would you agree with me? They get off on this. They're getting off on seeing her as someone who's been molested. And I think a lot of people aren't able to go there, but you and I,
these kinds of stories, because it literally,
they get off on it. I understand that people are well-meaning, that they mean to really help Sophie, or if it's any way, shape, or form, you're doing way commodity and she's symbolic of
or parent blogger that uses their child as their vehicle. It wasn't his story to tell. It wasn't his. You don't share somebody else's story. In my reporting, I have never shown her face.
But people would say, "Oh, her screaming, her screams, and her kicking, and her hitting."
I'm not a forensic psychologist. And I'm not going to make a decision about what somebody's saying based on an edited clip that you see on YouTube. I mean, I cover Teen Mom too, and I know that even in court, you can't use edited footage. It's inadmissible. So
totally inadmissible.
Yeah. So unless we saw the fully unclipped, and he exposed himself in his live, like in the very first night, he said, well, they needed a reaction from her because they said that she wasn't showing any emotional reactions. And she went through a full forensic interview and she didn't show any evidence of abuse. And then people keep putting out, well, there was.
You brought that up. I want to make that clear right now.
Through this many, have you guys ever had an RAPE kit?
Well, as a forensic psychological exam, a forensic psychological exam is just as invasive. It's somebody in these invasive, whether they're psychological, U.S. Marine is going to break down and tell you what you want to hear. This is the case with this child. She finally broke and said what her father wanted her to say, in my opinion. She finally broke. She's been through enough. She's been physically invaded, examined. She's been psychologically invaded for 5 long years since she was 4.
I just want to point out there how Kay knew to say, in my opinion. this was about like 10 days, I think, before Katie was hurt.
4 years old, 5 years old, this child has been going through this. She finally said, all right, fine. You want me to say I'm all right, fine. Yes. Mommy's friends and mommy and the police and everyone.
Have you received messages from children that have gone through parental alienation? I have received.
I myself
dozens.
have gone through parental alienation. I'm a survivor of parental alienation.
Yeah, I have received dozens of messages from people telling me that their parents did this to them and they would have said anything just to make their parent happy because they were just so done.
My dad used to call my mom the Wicked Witch of the West. So many words I won't even repeat, but my dad would say everything. And I would sit there and nod and go along. Yeah. You know why? Because I wanted him to get me. I was 16 and needed tampons and SpaghettiOs and to get through the day. I needed to get to high school. I needed a ride to school. I needed a ride home from school. I needed the essentials to get through life. So I said, whatever my dad was saying, I agreed with just to get my basic needs met. Because my dad was so furious with my mom for leaving him, for having the nerve and the gall to leave him. And I was the only one left at home. I have an older brother and sister who were gone. My brother was in the army and my sister was married. My sister married as quickly as she could and had a baby to get out of the dysfunction of our family. I was the youngest. I'm 5 years younger than my brother and sister. I was the baby and left, and I was thrown to the wolves and this circumstance. I know exactly what parental alienation feels like, and I can spot it a mile away. And I can spot a liar and a manipulator a mile away.
Yeah.
Mike, a liar and a manipulator.
Yeah. I'm really sorry your dad did that to you. That's
I mean, but you know what? What it did for me was I broke the cycle. I've held my family together. Family is what matters to me. Commitment, the nuclear family, keeping my children safe within the protective unit of my husband and myself. No matter what happens between him and I, no matter what arguments or challenges or problems, we're going to hold it together for the kids.
right.
For the kids. But I think Kelly's situation is very unique and different in that she was dealing with someone who truly has a mental illness.
Yeah.
I think Mike truly has a mental illness. And I think she was young and impressionable, and he's been working her all these years. And this
he's 41 and she's like what, 30?
Yeah. This is the crescendo. We're coming into this story at the apex of it, the cataclysmic. This is the worst, right? This is
in the police body cam footage, you could tell that I got the sense that she was fearful for her life. Like, it is these types of cases almost, if they don't end up with someone.
May. The body cam footage hopefully will be gone. I'm hoping it's just erased and gone. But the body cam footage, she even says in it, and this was May, so that adds validity to it. Before this went viral, she says in there, he's been making these accusations for years.
Yeah.
And they've all been debunked. And you can tell the police aren't believing it. They've got a good handle on it, picture of it. They have a good understanding of what's really going on there. And even
from the beginning, Frisco Police Department was like, this is a high conflict divorce. There's so much we can't tell you about. Like, I feel bad.
I want to respond to this. What happens if her claims are true? Sincere question. None of us really know. Rebecca Davis, I want to give you a well thought out response to that. Those of us on social media, whether you're a YouTuber or a member of a Facebook group or somebody that's just on the sidelines observing, we can do nothing. We have no power in Sophie's situation. We are not law enforcement. We are not social workers. We are not forensic psychologists. We are not assigned to her case. We are not the judge assigned to her case. We are not the jury. We can do nothing. So if you ask me, what if her claims are true? What if the Green Man on Mars is filmed tomorrow and it's shown to the world? What if? You can throw a bazillion.
What if the magical crystals? What if the magical crystals that Michael sells can actually cure?
No, I'm sorry. You don't get to play the whole. I'm not responsible. I'm not professional. I'm not in charge here. Excuse, and then turn around and speak about this as if you are involved or as if you are in charge. I mean, she was just saying in a recent stream about how she's being paid for her analysis and everything of shit. And that, but we're not the counselors involved. We're not law enforcement, so no, you can't ask us these questions. What if? You don't get it both ways. You get it one or the other. I mean, you're either, some sort of self-proclaimed expert and you have every right to comment and be a part of this, or you're an idiot and you know this and you know that you're I don't know, just defunct, and you can't really fully comment on it in a responsible, rational way and offer something. It's one or the other. God, that's annoying.
Cure cancer.
Can actually cure cancer. What if? There's nothing we can do about that. So you're throwing a what if at me, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it.
And this is what Michael's doing. He's making it because you can't question a survivor. You can't. And he knows that. But what Michael is doing and what you guys should be angry about is he's making it, if you're a survivor, he's making it harder for you to be believed because he is tarnishing and making it hard, right?
Yes.
So I'm a victim of SA and I was triggered by this story and I actually shared it on my channel because this story triggered me so much. And it's and people don't believe me. Do you know why people don't believe me? Because people like Michael do this.
Exactly. That's why it becomes harder for people, legitimate claims of abuse, to be believed, because people like him make spectacles of cases like this.
And
People are,
anyone that's a true victim knows that this is not how you handle it.
people are asking in chat for me to read the statement again. I'm going to read it one more time. At this time, I prefer to have faith in our legal system, CPS, and the police to come to the correct conclusions, as they have in the past, regarding my children, whom I love with all my heart and cannot wait to be reunited with. I will not be speaking publicly regarding Michael's accusations, as I feel it is best to protect the integrity of the case and my children's right to privacy and dignity through this process. How can you argue with that? I don't know how you can argue with that. I would love to see an argument.
He posted her temporary order of protection with the GoFundMe. And I actually read that to my audience tonight. And I said, if you don't care about your kids, why would you want the GoFundMe to pay for their therapy?
But he pulled her out of therapy, didn't he?
Yeah.
He pulled her out of there. Katie, can I run to the ladies' room really quick? I'm so this is like I've had I carried twins to term, so the bladder's not what it used to be. I'm going to run to the bathroom. You have the floor. Go ahead and respond to some of the people in chat, okay?
This is my vlogging channel that you see, but I have Without a Crystal Ball. And some people hate me and some people love me, but this is what I do. Who's the Tim guy on the army page? I don't know. He's legitimately an evil person though. Like, he is spending all of his time trying to tarnish and ruin people's reputations and cause harm to people. He is actively doxing people and posting all kinds of information. I do have a YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is Without a Crystal Ball. It covers, I do a lot of different things. I do reality television. I do fundies. So we talk about the Duggars and sister wives because I am against spiritual and religious abuse. We talk about teen mom because there is so much drama. I do true crime. I cover trending topics and viral stories. I've been doing a lot of stuff on the troubled teen industry lately. It's kind of a mix. I do some funny stuff. Like, I do a really good Michelle Duggar impersonation. I've not been one of your greatest supporters, but you are right on this one and it's on point. Well, thank you. Oh yeah. 90 Day Fiance. I've covered that. What Anna did is,
the TikTok lady. Yeah. Oh God, don't even get me started. Wow. Yeah.
And then she's mad because Daily Mail wouldn't give her credit.
Yeah, her trying to make this whole thing a Waco situation. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah.
I still am not over Waco. And I'm really trying to make this a whole Waco thing. And again, it's about the energy, right? These cases are known by their energy. That's what I always say to people. By their fruits, they're known. The energy.
Well, and all these pseudo advocates. And people were, the funny thing is people were giving me shit for even covering it because people love to say, Katie, trauma's not tea. And I'm like, when was this a tea channel? Because I do funny recaps about reality television. I mix stuff in onto my channel because if I covered hard stuff all the time, I would be depressed.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same way. I have to have times and nights where I just, I've spent all day on this. My brain literally.
I have been in these groups and I have been on court documents and I have been my husband probably thinks I'm crazy because I'm just like, what is he doing now? But in the middle of that, I had to put out a video about Michelle Duggar, John Gosselin, Michelle, my audience likes the stupid stuff, but they also like the hard-hitting stuff. But they also love to tell me, Katie, trauma's not tea, and you're monetizing this. And it's like, oh, and I think it's ethically and morally wrong that you're making money off of this. And I'm like, this is my job. This channel is my full-time job. I work sometimes 12 hours a day doing and research. So it's like,
oh God, 12 hours a day. When I was working the Watts case, there were days where I didn't sleep.
Hey, some people were like, ooh, don't talk to Kay because she blamed his wife.
No, I didn't. Well, blamed his wife. No, I investigated the marital dynamic. And we had so much information. So why wouldn't you? That's just the kind of person I am. You had so much in the discovery. What am I supposed to turn a blind eye to it and not say what I see in it? I mean, what I saw in it was a very unhealthy marital dynamic. And I interviewed Chris's ex-girlfriend.
I just want to say, I'm going to be right back in 30 seconds. So just letting you know, I'm not taking off.
I interviewed Shanann's friend, Chris's mother, Chris's sister, Chris's father. I interviewed all these people and I formed my own opinion and I shared it with my audience. I think some people interpreted that as me blaming her for what happened to her. Blame is not the same as explain. There's an explanation and then there's blame. I tried to explain to people why that marriage came to the boiling point that it came to. And could Shanann have known that her husband was going to murder her and those kids? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
She could never have seen around that corner. But why not talk about that that's a possible corner? Why not talk about that with other women, that is a possible corner? And maybe don't push someone to that. Don't push someone to their breaking point. Learn to recognize when your spouse or significant other might be stressed and strained and hitting a breaking point. I think Shanann missed a lot of red flags with Chris. She misinterpreted and missed them. And unfortunately, it ended badly for her. And if talking about it can cause it to end better for other women, it's worth it. You would not believe how many thousands of women. You would not believe how many thousands of women have come to me and said, my marriage is better, Kay. because I listened to what you had to say about the Watts marriage and I applied that to my own marriage. Well, how is that not worth it? There's no,
Maybe they should have just been divorced. I mean, there's a difference between not pushing and noticing red flags and leaving.
but some people are afraid to get a divorce. They don't want to lose their children. And yes, even people who are afraid of losing their children end up murdering them.
Oh, see, I don't agree with you.
That's all right. And no, I'm cool with you not agreeing with me. And I would love to have another show. I would love to have a separate show where we do Kay versus Katie.
I don't, I purposely did not follow that case because
it's easy to say what Chris should have done. That's easy to say that.
I just don't think it's fair to say that she put herself into that position. That's just not fair.
But she didn't put herself in a position of being murdered. She put herself in a position of the breakdown of a marriage.
That's not her fault that he took that drastic step, though.
Not her fault that he took that drastic step. It's her fault that it got to that point where it was a cataclysmic nuclear event. She was just as much a party up to that point. Okay, so I want you to think of it like playing chess. So someone takes this move, that move, this move, that move, and it's finally over. Some people just do that nuclear overreaction. Chris is just one of those people. He went nuclear that night.
Yeah, no.
Didn't he? Did he not? He went.
Well, yeah, but no.
But she played her moves every step of the way. She led them into bankruptcy. She led them down a road they could never come back from. She led them into financial troubles they could never reverse themselves from, which was extremely stressful for him. She did that. Yes,
you know what? Nobody has the option to murder, period. Like,
of course they don't. That's why he's in prison. I would rather people recognize that that's the worst possible option. But you don't have that discussion unless you talk about, because yes, Katie, because there's a lot of marriages like the Watts marriage going on out there. There's hundreds of thousands of them going on out there right now. Why not try to reach those people before it gets to the point of what Chris did? I see you're looking shocked. I see you're looking shocked, but why are you shocked? Men murder their wives every day. Women murder their children every day. Men murder their children every day. Why not reach them before they're great?
It's victim blaming. It's not.
It's explaining.
You literally just said that she put them into bankruptcy, and that's not a reason for murder.
She did. She was bankrupt before they got together.
So?
They were bankrupt with it. What do you mean so? That's very stressful. Money.
He chose to get together with her.
He did. You're right. He did.
So
he did. He did choose. Yes. So why not reach those men before they choose? Don't get involved with a woman who's already had severe money issues. Why is that not realistic to try to reach people on that level? I know I see you're struggling with that, but that's just who I am. I think you're going to change society and we're going to change the way, the reasons that these things happen. You're not going to be able to change them unless you throw them out there and just discuss them. They're painful. They're painful. They're ugly. They're difficult. They're hard to talk about. They're hard to admit. It's hard for women to admit that getting themselves that far into debt and putting that strain on their marriage and their man could have disastrous consequences.
But here's the thing.
A lot of women do it.
No, because when you become a team and when you become a marriage, and he walked into that knowing that this is how she was, I understand this is what a bad marriage can do, but I'm also saying
but we could say the same thing about Kelly and Michael. You don't always know what you're getting into. I think when Kelly married him, she didn't really know what she was getting into. I think when Chris and Shannon got married, neither one of them really knew what they were getting into. Why not help people to plan it a little better and know what they're getting into before they get into it and it comes to a tragic end? I mean,
yeah, that doesn't justify murder.
Of course, nothing justifies murder. Of course it doesn't. That's a no-brainer. That's easy. Next. What leads to it? You don't want to know? I do. You don't want to know the nuances and the real dynamics? I do. It's not as easy as black and white. And I'm not manipulated by the TV shows that try to put it all together for me and expect me to see it. I'm not. It's much more complicated than that. Relationships and family dynamics are so much more complicated than that.
See, her argument, though, doesn't hold. I mean, she wants to sit there and say that having a less than stellar marriage, whatever, or being a bitch or whatever is what leads to murder. If there was a case in the majority of the times that people were bitches, then it would lead to their murders. The majority of the times it doesn't. It might lead to them being dumped or whatever, or being yelled at. It doesn't lead to the death of them and their kids. So, I mean, her argument just doesn't hold. That's obviously not the catalyst. That's not what led to the murder. If that's not what leads to murder, like all the time.
It's not as simple as boy murders girl because he's a narcissist. It's not that simple. There's so much more to it than that. There's so much more that happens between point A and point Z. Why not discuss that?
I just don't know.
But you agree with me that in this case, though, there's a lot between point A and point B with Kelly. It's not just as easy as we're seeing. It's not just as simple as we're seeing, right? If we were to believe Michael's end of things, then we're taking just what he says at face value and completely dismissing the fact that there's a whole lot more to the story. There's a whole lot more to the story here. The only difference between this story and the Watts story is the Watts story ended in murder. This one hasn't. This one hasn't. Thank God.
Look at one of my subscribers sent for my son.
What? Zoom in. What is it?
It's a little mask with dinosaurs and Godzilla. That's me changing the subject.
Yeah, because you're uncomfortable. I get it. All right, let's move on. I get it. You can ponder what I'm saying, and we can have a deeper discussion about it another night.
I don't think I want to have a discussion about the Wattses. To be honest, that story was too much for me. And I got too invested in Lacey and Scott Peterson's case. And I just don't, I can't with these. I don't like to talk about murders and give them attention.
But why not? I mean, we talk about death in general. We talk about illness and disease. We talk about all kinds of things. Why not go there? We talk about how to stay healthy. We talk about how to keep yourself physically fit. We talk about why not keeping relationships healthy. I mean, you agree, right? The Watts marriage became a toxic mess. Would you agree with that at least?
I didn't, like I said, I didn't
started out loving.
I didn't watch. I've only seen like one thing about the case. And
all right. Well, then let me help you understand. The Watts marriage.
Squirrel. I think was it Squirrely Squirrel or Squirrel Squirrel or something. She just asked, or they just asked when this live was. I'm looking at the wrong chat. I just wanted for anyone just coming in or whatever, not sure what we're watching. We're watching the live stream from Critical Case channel when Katie Joy was a guest on her show, and this was uploaded on September 14th, 2020. So
marriage began as any marriage and relationship does. It started out with a couple of people who loved each other and it ended horribly. What happened in between? You don't care at all? I don't understand that. I care about what happened in between. That's my fascination. What happened from when they met and fell in love? Because I sincerely believe that they did. I don't believe that he's a horrible person, and I don't believe she's a horrible person. I believe they're people just like you and me.
Well, before I forget, I've heard Kay talk about someone named the Psych guy, and I found his YouTube channel and everything, but I can't find his name because I'm kind of curious what his credentials are, where he received his education and everything. But I can't learn his actual name to look this up. Does anyone know or know anything about him? If you do, if it's something you can fit in comments, great. If not, you can email me. My contact information is in the about section on my channel. Or you can just reach out to me on Twitter, whatever. Just his name, and I can take it from there. So why do I keep clicking the wrong tab?
Me.
I believe someone that throws their kids in a vat is a horrible person.
He became a horrible person.
No, he is a horrible person.
Oh, then she chose a horrible person. Then you must admit that Shanann was so stupid that she chose a horrible person, right?
Oh,
man. You can't have it both ways. So did Shanann miss red flags and choose a horrible person? Or did he morph and become a horrible person because what happened from point A to the end, to the cataclysmic end?
I stand with Godzilla.
All right. That's fine. I get that it makes you uncomfortable. It makes a lot of people uncomfortable. I get that it makes you uncomfortable. All right, let's go back to this case. Let's go back to Mike. I'd much rather talk about Mike. Have you also heard, because you're hearing a lot of stuff about this case too, have you also heard that 2012 was a turning point for Mike? That was kind of a turning point where he lost his job. He had a job. It's my understanding.
That's when he filed for bankruptcy, was 2011.
2011. But 2012 is where it really went off the rails for him, and he kind of had a mental or nervous breakdown. Have you heard that?
Yes.
Too? All right. And he had a legitimate job, did he not? He had a job.
According to his bankruptcy records, he was making around $7,800 a month.
Okay. A good job. So he had a legitimate and good job. And it went off the rails in 2012 for him. Have you heard why? Have you heard sort of the backstory about like what happened there?
No. He wrote about how he had this psychological break.
His social media, I talk about all the time. I talk about people that have digital footprints. And
and his blogs are disturbing.
Yeah, he has a T-Rex digital footprint.
And it's like he somehow lost it feels almost like he became psychotic or
yes,
he was having grandiose
delusions. Yes.
Grandiose delusions.
Yes.
And that makes me wonder if he has untreated bipolar or if it's schizophrenia.
And
it's
in those blogs. It's in those blogs. And I'm slowly releasing them. I released 2. I think I'm going to do 2 chapters a day.
Yeah, I read all of them and I was like,
they're crazy.
They're crazy. I mean, it's obvious that he has lost touch with reality.
Yes. And that doesn't go away. Some people have a Tweety Bird digital footprint and some people have a T-Rex digital.
Well, he just needed to get help and he won't treat it.
Well, but don't you think that this commotion that he's caused is his way of avoiding getting help? He's getting validated.
Well, yes, because he's sick. And so he has thoughts of grandeur and he has delusions of grandeur and he thinks he's God and he is getting his cult-like attention and he is basically David Koresh and he's got his little cult. They talk about.
Okay. Yeah, the Glare says, I don't know him. I've only watched him twice, but he doesn't seem to know what he's talking about at all. I feel like he cheated his way through college. This is the thing. I never heard of him either. And the only thing I ever heard from him was a clip that Kay was playing in her stream the other night, and it just seems kind of weird for a child psychologist or just a psychiatrist. I'm sorry, for a psychiatrist, child or not really. Come to think of it, he used the phrase "drink the Kool-Aid." That just, I don't know. That as soon as I heard that, I thought, what psychiatrist? And it wasn't like he used it like in a private setting, speaking with a colleague or something. He said it on his YouTube channel, "Drink the Kool-Aid." I just can't picture a credible psychiatrist just saying that phrase out on YouTube like that. It just, I don't know. It doesn't seem legit to me.
Talk about his hair.
I refer to him as the Heisenberg of the Save the Children movement. He's sort of hijacked the Save the Children movement, and he's made it about building his Mike's empire.
He doesn't care about anybody. He
I
doesn't,
think start calling him Meikenberg.
I don't think he cares about anyone but Mike. Even in his I did a video a couple nights ago, and that caused a lot of backlash because I brought up a lot of things that hadn't been brought up, and it was on a platform that was large enough that would get, like, I brought up all of these things, and it was like, I know you've been covering it, and it's like suddenly he somehow finds out that I've done this, and they've got all these people watching it, and it's like people can't believe it, and then all of these people start realizing that he did this, that aren't, it was weird because then suddenly he put out I mean, he's been doing it to you too.
He has, but I'm pretty resilient. Like, I'm a firewall. I'm pretty resilient. It just flashes right off of me. And
he's already doxed me 100 times. I've been doxed so many times.
I know, me too. I was doxed during the Watts days. Don't care. Do it again. Keep going. But I'm like a firewall, and I have my eyes on the prize. And my eyes on the prize here is getting to the point where, first of all, I think a lot of the people who have been duped by him are well-meaning. So you talk about, well, you have all these people that are doing this, they're doxing, they're coming in my chat, they're this, they're that. Some of these people definitely are nefarious and don't have good intentions. But I'm a believer. I like to see the best in people. So I believe that a lot of these people are well-meaning. They're just not being given. Remember the line from American President, in the absence of true leadership, people will follow a mirage. So unless
that's our president right now.
Unless you give people something else, they're just going to continue following the mirage. And he's a mirage right now.
Yeah, I've said that repeatedly. Like, you are being distracted.
Yes,
by the emotional response that he wants you to have.
But they're well-meaning. They mean well. So
some of them, yeah.
Some of them. So if you give them,
not the ones that are in my DMs telling me my child should be molested and I should die.
No, not them. No, not them. They're the.
But he has tapped. That's the problem with what he's done. Is by going to QAnon, he has tapped into some people that are in that world that are very mentally ill as well.
Extreme. Yes, extreme. And those are the people that you're seeing with the fake Facebook accounts and fake accounts that are coming invading people's inbox.
Yeah, because people are like, oh, you're such a terrible person. And I would have expected with a story like this, with the amount of backlash that I got, and that I would have lost subscribers, and I didn't. So clear. And most of my subscribers are like, this guy, I had a bad feeling about him from the beginning.
I think you have a lot of people that are coming forward saying they had a bad feeling about him right from the get-go. More than you think.
Yeah.
You have your volume. Does someone have their volume up? What's going on? Like, I'm hearing
my mic is up here. So
yeah, I was getting feedback, hearing myself. Were you aware too that Kelly, she basically said to the judge, put them in foster. She would rather they be in a foster home. This is how tormented this poor woman is. She would rather them be in imagine you're a mom with these 3 kids, and you've been their pretty much sole provider and their sole source of consistency and stability, and all of a sudden they've been ripped from you. She has said she would rather they be in a foster home than with him. That's how terrified she is.
He's going live with the Dad Challenge podcast. The Dad Challenge podcast will sometimes go live with anyone that doesn't like me, I swear.
What's the Dad Challenge podcast? What's that?
I can't believe he's going to give him a platform.
But I want you guys to really think about that. What kind of situation must you be in?
I just have to say this. This is the problem, is that people seem to think, and I'm just going to make this statement. The Dad Challenge podcast sort of came out of nowhere during the Micah Stoffer story. And his channel has grown, and he has sort of linked up to stories that I've covered. And there's another channel that does this too. And I'm not saying that they copy me at all, but people link me with them for whatever reason, even though we don't cover all the same topics. And then they want me to do everything the way that these other people do things. And I refuse to do things like that. And there are times where I'm like, I can't believe this is the direction they're going. But he also had another YouTuber that hated me on his channel to talk about me. So sometimes I feel like he will do the opposite of what I do just because.
Do you want to know a little secret of mine, Katie? I don't watch a single YouTuber. Nobody.
I don't either. But
I don't watch anyone. I listen to my own shows. I take notes on the things that I say to make sure that I can dovetail on what I've said in a previous show. I don't listen to a single other YouTuber. I've heard their names.
I don't know who TDCP talks about you all the time. I don't know what that means.
I don't know. BBT, Boston, go ahead. You want to chime in? Go ahead.
Yeah, I just have a quick question for you. Like, everybody seems to be repeating the question, like, especially like directed at, I've gotten
Wasn't she just talking about the Dad Challenge podcast or whatever? And then I don't know what that means. Squirrely Squirrel mentioned something, and this is a great question. When this is done, this video is done in like 5-6 minutes or whatever. But afterwards, I want to ask everyone, who do you think is worse, Katie or Kay? So just because I'll forget. So if I don't remind myself or have you guys remind me.
I've gotten this question for a week now, but what happens if the dad was right? Which clearly, I mean, you don't even have to know who you are to know that we would crucify him to the furthest extent of the law. He would be subjected to exactly what everyone else is. But not one person has entertained the question, what should happen to Dad if he's wrong?
Exactly. No, what should happen to Mike if it's
Right.
proven that he coached her and exploited her for $250,000? What should happen to him?
What is that answer? What should happen? Like, I'd love to hear all these people that are in belief of Mike or in support of Mike. I would love to hear what their response would be. That what should happen, especially now you're talking legally because he's filed false police reports. So legally and civilly with custody. Should he never see his kid again? Should he have supervised visit? Truly, what should happen to Mike? I'm so interested in that what those people answer. And you know what's going to happen? I know this is what he didn't know. He was protecting his child. He had to believe his child. So now they're going to blame Sophie for the reason that he.
Can I? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, don't throw I believe Mike would throw Sophie under the bus so fast it would make everyone's head spins. Right. It would make everyone's head spins. And I want to respond. Because so many people have been coming at me with claims that Jake is on the run. I want to make very clear, Jake is not on the run. He is not on the run. He's not been arrested. She has not been arrested. Kelly has not been arrested. I want to make very clear, CPS. And wait a minute, let me finish this because y'all are going to only hear this on this channel.
No,
CPS has the results of the most recent SANE test, and there is zero evidence of essay.
Non-conclusive.
Zero. Period.
Inconclusive.
None.
I know what you're.
Go ahead.
I was talking about the Dad Challenge. I just want to finish this. Like, I have nothing against. They're all talking about how I'm two-faced. I have nothing against the Dad Challenge podcast at all. Like, I have had communication with him where he's very nice and he has helped me. He was the person that told me what camera to buy and what microphone to buy. I have nothing against him. What I'm saying is I can't believe he would have Michael on them because he's usually the person that is so staunchly against and has a good eye for this kind of stuff. So that's why I'm surprised. Like, I'm surprised he would bring Michael onto his channel. I do like the Dad podcast because they're all getting distracted. Like, oh, you suddenly don't like him. I'm like, no, I'm just surprised that Michael would go on that channel.
Well, I don't know. That might be an indicator of what that channel's motives. I mean, I don't know. Or are they just not able to think critically? Like I said, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the Dad channel, never even heard of the channel. Maybe they just don't know how to think critically and take these situations and parse them out and compartmentalize them. Think of them like a bento box. Boston, help me out here. People need to think of these cases like a bento box. Okay, you take a Japanese
What's a bento box?
and you put, you know what a bento box is?
No.
The Japanese meal boxes where it's like all
yes.
So you take them and you put what you know in this compartment. You put what is known, factual in this compartment. You put what has been claimed in this compartment. You put what you've actually seen in this compartment. You put what your gut instinct is in this compartment. And it's like a Rubik's Cube. And you take this bento box and all these compartmentalized things and you think them all through, not just one. You don't just focus with your emotions. You don't just focus.
No emotions, no room for emotions.
You remove, you can remove that. And then you go on and you parse these things out. And then and another compartment is context. You put context in perspective, right? You put what law enforcement has said, what has been released in discoveries or in court documents. You put that in there and you take the totality of things. I'm only asking people to take the totality of things
without speculation.
Well, and here's the thing is like, if
feelings, everything you put in those bento boxes has to be backed up by data. So exactly what you're saying is right. So like she did the SANE, and I'm sorry for saying that before. That is a very, very invasive, detailed, highly expert.
It's traumatizing, right. And he's put her through it. And he's put her through it 7-9 times. He's put her through
state level with those double-sided mirrors and the law enforcement's on one side. I mean, if it gets to that point to have an interview, that's almost indictment. You know what I mean? So if it did get to that point, which I haven't seen that she's had a real authentic SANE exam. I didn't see that. Like I said, if it gets to that point, that's a state employee that does that, and that person's highly specialized. You know what I mean? That's a very, very, very.
But people will come, BBT. People will come at us and say, "I don't trust CPS. Exactly. I don't trust the police. I don't know how to counter that with anything other than you have to go on a case-by-case basis. You cannot assume that because CPS failed in San Fernando Valley, California, means they're failing in."
But it goes back to what you said. What would the motivation for a collection of professionals that would be jeopardizing their entire career, right? They would be jeopardizing which is more, and I know for a fact, which is more precious than their career is their reputation, right? They were chosen independently by the courts. They're experts. You think they're gonna just lie for this case because they woke up and liked them? You know what I mean? It doesn't happen. Like, I'm not saying everybody's right. I'm not saying CPS is one of the most controversial and ill-equipped, agencies out there.
BBT, that's a good point. What is the motivation for Frisco police and CPS
What's the
and
benefit?
all of these entities, the judge who has handled Mike
Yep.
before, the
Yep.
judge who has dismissed Mike multiple times over the
Yep.
past 5 years since the divorce. What is the motive for the Dr. Morgan?
I love it when someone asks this question because it keeps reminding me to keep doing it. Sassy Georgia Peach asked, when did this panel happen? She just came in. This happened on, was it September 14th? Yeah, September 14th, 2020. It was back during the whole Sophie Long case and everything, like towards the beginning of it. So basically, Katie kind of earned a spot, I guess, on Kay's channel there because of the whole brat comment. So, and now Kay is trying to make claim to being the one to have said the word brat first.
Morgan, who is the Dr. Morgan, who has refused to deal with, even treat Sophie. She won't even see Sophie anymore. She won't even lay eyeballs on her ever again in her career. What is the motivation for all of these people? Are they all out to get Mike?
What's the benefit? Like you were saying, go back to reinforcement. What behavior?
What's the benefit?
Depends
What is
on
the benefit for them?
It depends on reinforcing that behavior. What would reinforce or motivate these professionals? Not one professional, but a slew of doctors, independent psychiatrists, examining. What would promote? Like what would influence them to all collectively lie? It doesn't work like that. It doesn't. And now, and you know what, Kay, to answer your question, here's what you respond. Why? Just like going back to what I said. Why then do all these people dismiss these courts in the findings that were? Now they love the findings by the same people because it works in their with their their
what he's
go ahead. Sorry,
go ahead, Katie.
What he's tapped into is those people that are already disenfranchised with the system and are unwilling that have that conspiracy mindset that CPS is out to kidnap our children, that are going to, the courts don't rule in the favor of dads. And some of that is that aspect of the courts might be true, but he has really targeted those people who already are disenfranchised by the system and believe that our system is utterly and completely broken and impossible to make decisions
until it rules in his favor.
Correct.
Well, right. And once
the same person, and this is what these people do, is when it doesn't work in their favor, everything is corrupt. But if it works in their favor, it's fine. And he's using the same system
that it was 2 days ago. You know, that took custody away from him. And that triggered this whole circus that kicked off his tantrum, right? Now, because it was ruled in his favor, which it wasn't ruled in his favor, the court is erring on the side of caution, you know.
But he doesn't have full custody.
No, temporary orders.
It was basically a judge walking into it, not knowing what was going on, and said, well, I'm just going to err on the side of caution.
But BBT, you know, their circular reasoning would be, well, he put up a stink on social media. That's why.
He had to save his daughter. He had to protect her.
Exactly. That will be their circular reason. That'll be your confirmation bias.
Blaming the victim.
Yeah.
Yep. I had to listen to my daughter. I couldn't call her a liar. I heard it all. We'll said it repeatedly and screamed at me.
Oh, I know.
You cannot. And you know, the worst thing that makes me like, sick to my stomach more so than uploading this video is the fact that that father allowed and proactively went in and chose items as a reinforcer to his daughter on that, like, you know, that whatchamacallit, that they get the presents. I'm blanking on it. You know, like that they're going to get, like that wish list. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, yeah. I mean,
I agree with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why is she getting like you know, toys and you know, like, you know, why is she if that's additional reinforcement of her behavior? You know, God, it's like kicking off a shitstorm. Now the father's reinforced, the daughter's reinforced, and what's going to happen to that money? And I'd love to hear Katie's like answer to this. What's going to happen to that GoFundMe if or when? Now I'm saying if it turns out that the father has coached this daughter and the whole thing's a sham. What
but this puts GoFundMe in an awkward position. Don't you agree, Katie? It puts them in an awkward position of having to determine that's not their place. They just provide.
No, they can 100%. They can, and they have.
But what do they base their decision on, Katie?
It's based upon whether or not there was. So what can happen is they might over time determine that people can report this GoFundMe at any time. And if something happens and the court rules against him and that he was lying, it's not even GoFundMe at that point. It becomes a federal fraud case.
Yeah, but what would happen to that GoFundMe? Like as a result, I understand.
Well, the court can freeze the GoFundMe at any time. The court can stop it at any time.
How does the court get to the position? Like, who would have to file a motion for the court to consider that GoFundMe? You know what I'm saying?
They'd have to do it through federal court.
So the state would have to file it?
No, I mean, really, it comes down to like people can report it to the FBI.
So how would it get to the point of the court determining it? You know what I mean? How does it reach that level of like?
Well, she's got it in her TRO, and they haven't even ruled on the TROs.
Who does? Who has?
Kelly.
So she does?
Yes.
Oh, so she has like responsibility over the funds?
No, she has requested a temporary restraining order against him, along with the court freezing the GoFundMe.
Oh, okay. So then there's my answer. That's how it got to the court.
But the fact of the matter is that from a fraud standpoint, what happens is they can unravel the scheme. And so what happens is they can look at the
where to go? Feisty Lady. So KJ is a GoFundMe expert. She regularly says that she used to cover GoFundMe fraud when she used to write or whatever for Pathos and stuff, but no, she didn't. She never did. There's one article that I've been able to find where she discusses GoFundMe fraud, like as the main subject, but it was all information that she had obtained from another source, from another media source, another media outlet. Other than that, the only other mention I can find is maybe a couple of mentions of it, like in the title or whatever. Basically, it's not the story. It's just like a part of aspect of the story, but it's not even fraud. It's just GoFundMe. That's it. So yeah, no, she's full of shit.
The calculated steps he took and the way that he orchestrated the fraud, because it's fraud. What he's done.
So would they just freeze it? Like how would they reimburse?
Well, they've retroed. So there have been large frauds like this in the past where months and months later they end up refunding and they take the loss.
Wow. And then the other question, sorry, Kate.
Katie's actually had several GoFundMe campaigns or whatever. There was one for the Ronald McDonald House. I think that's the one most people are familiar with. She also had one for, I think it was her mom, when her mom was, I guess, fighting cancer. And I think that there's another one, or a first one back, I think maybe when her son was just born. But I mean, obviously, we're not when he was just born, but when he just started having medical issues, rather. So I mean, that and her mom one, I guess, of course that would make sense, or whatever. But yeah, the Ronald McDonald House. This one people are most familiar with because she wanted to. It wasn't even like she was collecting for like something for herself or personally for the house. She just wanted to do something nice for the Ronald McDonald House. And if you can do that, you can raise money through a GoFundMe campaign for the organization, but not the way Katie was doing it. If you can set it up so that people donate to the campaign and the money goes straight to the Ronald McDonald House, so the person who started the campaign doesn't even touch the money, it doesn't go through them. But the way Katie did it was give me all the money and then I'll donate it. That's how she was doing it, and people are like, nah, we don't think so.
Okay, and then the other question is like, how does that play into, like, because I know he's done now PayPal, which publicly we can't monitor at all. He could have 1,000 in PayPal. Are they just as responsible, or?
So for PayPal, if people send PayPal money, they can actually send a request to PayPal for a refund.
So how would that like? Because he has dropped his PayPal, which seems additionally like contrived. Like, wouldn't this be extortion? Like,
there is money. There's basically what this is it's wire fraud because it's happening over the internet.
But don't you think, Katie, that this case can be precedent setting?
Oh, I think
this case can be precedent setting.
And I will not. I'm going to put my word here. I'm going to say this right now. I will not be shocked if he ends up with a 12-count federal indictment for bank fraud, wire fraud, because he's doing it over the internet.
Racketeering.
I don't know what racketeering is.
I know, but that's where I'm going. Could this case be groundbreaking and precedent setting?
Well, in terms of, there could also be federal involvement for the death threats to the judges, the attorneys, the public workers, because that's serious. And he has done nothing to stop it. In fact, behind the scenes is encouraging this kind of behavior.
He's going to end up screwing himself.
He's going to end up in prison.
I mean, and he has made it, and this is all, like, if you go back to the 5-7 days I've been arguing this, and it all stems from the moment he made this public. This is how this was kicked off. What I just said doesn't mean I'm saying.
Well, okay, so here's how one worked out. With the large case revolved around the man, the $400,000 raised for the homeless veteran, who was not, the whole thing was perpetuated on fraud. And so what they did was they started watching them. And when there's ever a large one like this, you can tip off the FBI at any time and let them know about it, and they will start looking at it. And as they look, they can look at the steps that Michael takes throughout every single time. They can decipher where he came up with this plot and if he came up with this plot, and then it becomes fraud. GoFundMe, in the case of the vet, they refunded every single person and they took a loss on it because they had already spent all the money.
And under in that situation, would
they all ended up in prison?
Pay restitution? Okay, so in that situation, did they
did have to pay restitution?
They have to pay restitution.
And they ended up in prison, all three of them.
Yes, April, the long hoax. That's my group. The long hoax.
As this has been so amazing, and I hate to cut you short. I'm so tired.
I'm just kind of curious. I'm looking at the chat here. Where is it? Damn it. Christola S says, at beautiful boys, excuse me, we aren't talking about it here because it's not our channel and inappropriate. I can't find their original comment. I don't need to know what it's about. I just wanted to, in case it is about this, I want to throw it out there that I'm fine playing with this video just to look back and kind of laugh at, everything we know now, just how these two were on a stream together, just how it's so much, more funny now. But as far as the whole case goes with the little girl and everything, the family, like, I don't want to give that a platform for discussion. I mean, it's in the courts, it's in their hands, and, very possibly both parents are kind of pieces of shit, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's not about them. So I just want to throw that out there in case that was what that comment was about. So that's all. And Lola Pepper, thank you for your super chat. I'm so late to the party. We'll have to go back and watch tomorrow. I'm sorry that you can't, you missed it. I'm sorry. I need to start giving people more of a warning when I go live, because most of the time I don't even make up my mind to do it until like maybe an hour beforehand. And I need to be better about that. That's my bad. I'm glad you're here now.
No, you're fine.
I'm not a night owl.
Yeah, I am, and that's my handicap. It's almost midnight. Thank you so much. You have been so gracious. Thank you so much for coming in here and talking to me.
No problem. People were like, she's got a scowl on her face. And I'm like, I don't have my glasses on.
No, they were saying I have stoned. I think they were saying, see, you're reading chat and you think they're bagging you. I think they're bagging me.
I never know. Like, I'm so used to seeing like spiteful comments because that's just part of this job. But
I know it is. Katie, you're adorable though. You are super cute. You're adorable. I would love to meet you. I think you're adorable. I would love to give you a hug. Thank you.
I'm a critical thinker.
I can tell. Thank you for coming in and being on the panel and taking the time out. You're so much bigger than me. So I thank you for, coming in, helping me out. And
everyone's platform has the ability to grow at any time. And I feel like when you start to think of your platform as bigger or whatever, it's no.
It's not about
that. You just have to support other creators that are doing this. And I came here just to support you because I see what they're doing to you in the groups. And I think it's ridiculous. And
I can take it. I'm strong though.
I'm not, people were like, I brought it up and I'm like, look, they doxed me. Woo. It's like the 37th time I've been doxed. Like I'm going to be fine. We have, we're like all wired up in this house.
And strong women stay together. And honestly, I think you all can imagine Kelly's state of mind. Yeah, I think you can all imagine it. You can all honestly,
we're like all wired up in this house.
And strong women stay together. And honestly, I think you all can imagine Kelly's state of mind. Yeah, I think you can all imagine it. You can all imagine her the spectrum that her emotions are on.
I mean, look at how jacked up women are.
Yeah, I stay together.
Like I'm gonna. I'm not. People were like, I brought it up groups, and I think it's ridiculous. And
I can take it. I'm strong though.
I'm not. People were like, I brought it up, and I'm like, look, they doxed me. Woo! It's like the 37th time I've been doxed. Like I'm gonna be fine. We have, we're like all wired up in this house.
And strong women stay together. And honestly, I think you all can imagine Kelly's state of mind. Yeah, I think you can all imagine it. You can all imagine her the spectrum that her emotions are on.
I mean, look at how jacked up women are.
Wait a minute.
Karen buys her subs. I've never bought a sub. Can you buy subs? You can't buy subs.
You can buy subs. Oh,
you can, but you lose your channel.
Okay. You can buy subs. I know somebody who did it.
And views and comments.
But
no, I said you can, but I would never. Like,
no, I know you would never. I know you wouldn't. And no way. You earned every single one of those subs.
If you buy subs and they find out, you can lose your entire channel.
You lose your channel. I think everybody can appreciate what Kelly's state of mind is. And I think if she respects the process, she respects the police, she respects CPS, she respects the process. She wants her kids back. She wants her kids back in her arms. And I really respect her for having the strength and the wherewithal to not engage in this mess. And what I said to her today was, continue to be strong, continue to be a strong woman. I assure you, if she could be here, she would, and she would be just like all of us. She's a mom. She works hard. She loves her babies. She wants them back in her arms. She is not this villain and demon that she's been painted out to be. She's just like you and me. And she's been through a long, hard road. She's made her own mistakes, as all of us have. And she right now is up against the ropes. And the person who has put her up against the ropes is the father of her own children. And I want you guys, every single one of you, to stop and put yourself in her shoes. And
that's what my parting words will be. I told my subscribers the same thing. No father that cares about his children
would do this to the
mother because it puts the children at risk.
Yes, it puts the children in the middle. Again, you and I.
But in this situation, he's getting people to do death threats, and they want to go kill her when she had custody of the kids.
And I want people to understand, Sophie loves her mom.
Absolutely.
Sophie does love her mom.
Okay,
And the hate that you're throwing out into the atmosphere and the universe for her mom,
that's
that
right, Kay.
you're not supporting Sophie by doing that.
That's right,
She
Kay.
loves her mom and her mom loves her, and everybody needs to just calm it
Well,
down.
No,
I
and
couldn't say it better.
and telling people that you think certain things, none of this helps her. What would help all of you is if you stop talking about these traumatic events that she's been through and stop posting her photos and stop posting alleged journals and videos and stop sharing her videos and stop using her name and stop exploiting her. Like,
Well,
you can talk about what the dad is doing, but don't make it about this little girl because
And
it's
it-
not
Exactly. And if
not
you're a YouTube channel and you have the body cam footage up, please take it down.
if
Please
you're a YouTube channel and you have the amicus attorney video,
take it down.
take it down. If
Take
you
it
have
down.
if you have these alleged journals, take it down. If you have these interviews and these videos of his kids, take it down.
Take it
down. Get her name or
Get her name and her face out there. Stand up for Sophie.
That's
Take,
what
You're
you
absolutely right,
stand
Kay.
for
That-
Sophie.
that
You
should
stand
be
for her, not for
God.
exploitation.
Okay,
yes,
like,
stand
that
up
is
for her.
awesome.
Sophie doesn't have a voice right now. She's
Hashtag that.
stand up
You
for
are,
her.
you are so dead right, Kay. Like, I'm getting like emotional because I have been in a 5-year, almost 6-year custody battle.
Okay, I'm out, guys.
Bye, Katie. Good. Have a good night's sleep. All right, go
You are
ahead,
so
Boston.
right. You are so. I've had 10. He's had 12 attorneys. We're on our second trial. We have never not had 50-50 joint custody. We're going to have. We're both.
I've been doing so good tonight remembering to unmute myself. Okay. Yeah, so that was that video. I don't know, I find it's so funny to kind of go back knowing at the time when I first watched that, I didn't know who Kay was. That was my introduction to Kay. And just knowing more about Katie and just knowing like how, I don't know, just how the two of them kind of clash. It's just kind of funny to watch now. I mean, right off the bat, Katie just comes in and she's just talking about her. Like, she's just like not even paying attention to half the shit Kay's saying. And Katie just keeps talking about herself. Like, I don't know, like no one else is around almost. It's funny. Thanks, Black Boy. I tell you, there are a lot of Kay videos though that just, it is work just to pay attention because it's just, so boring and ridiculous at the same time and repetitive but I don't know. Lately though, I've been paying attention and I found good material, so I'll keep at it. Saying on my Twitter, there's a video on there, Kay, saying G is a racist. G, who's? Oh, saying a racist remark. Okay. Oh, awesome. Oh, is that the go get a job like the white folks or whatever, that comment? Because that would be good. Or not good that she said it or whatever, but I could use that actually. Stina Marie, what's with the props? Like Kay's props, like the rubber chicken or whatever, and the stupid kazoo. And I mean, at least the only prop I use is a nail file and maybe a headband, or a makeshift headband rather. It is that one? Okay. See, here's the thing. Between the two of them, as far as like which one's worse, I think I don't know. They both have their points, I guess, or whatever. I think KJ, I think she comes across as just nicer and safer or whatever. I think that she's more of like, I don't know. I think she's more capable of just like kind of tricking people or whatever. Whereas Kay is more direct and in your face. However, like people mentioned or brought up like the whole doxing and everything. And I do think Kay does really take shit way too far, especially considering that this is social media. So I don't know. I don't know who I would say is worse. I think the two of them together would be a horrible, horrible collaboration though. Yeah, so she will. And it's not like I'm gonna just like move on or whatever, ignore Katie and whatever, but just I do want to kind of branch out and try to just cover more people, whatever. Because I do think my channel does just kind of look awfully like, I don't know, just all Katie or whatever. But also, I'm kind of curious to see what I can do too. So. I think the fact she does come across kind of makes her, yeah, it takes back. That's the thing about Katie, because I think she gives people like a false sense of security, maybe, where, you know, Kay, you just, as soon as you meet Kay, you're like, you know, I just better like guard my secrets or whatever. So if I, again, like I'm open to ideas. The only thing is, though, like I've had some people have given me ideas, like the truthfully Trisha or whatever her name is, dude, she's just crazy. I mean, I can't, I don't know, I don't feel like it's even worth covering, because I don't know, like something like that I think is a little too far for me to really, I don't know, connect to or relate to, I guess you could say. But yeah, there's got to be like a lot more people on YouTube like Katie and Kay. I mean, there has to be. But yeah, someone asked me a question, or someone made a comment last night in the comments, and I kind of laughed at it. But they said how they would like to see like a celebrity death match or whatever between Kay and KJ. And I sat there thinking about, I'm like, who would win? And I'm like, you know, I think Kay would wreck KJ, but I think when Kay thought, as soon as Kay thought that the match was over, KJ would like sad fish to the crowd and get the crowd to attack Kay. And then I think KJ might win by like technical knockout or something. I don't know. Oh, Black Koi Records. If you and KJ swap lives right now, what would you do to turn her life around? Well, as far as her life goes, I don't know, like in the lawsuit or whatnot, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that there's really anything much she can do as far as the lawsuit, except for just, you know, play it out. But as far as her reputation and everything online, what I would do is I would take a break, first of all. I wouldn't delete anything. I wouldn't delete any accounts. I would just take a break, even if it's just for a couple of weeks. I would take a break to at least kind of give the illusion of like a fresh or clean slate or whatever when I came back. And when I came back, I would, whenever someone brought up, commented or tweeted or whatever, brought up, you know, about some horrible thing I did in the past or whatever, I would just basically humble myself. I would say, you're right. I'm sorry. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. I will, if you see me do it again, I implore you to please bring it to my attention again, because I'm trying to better myself. I'm trying to improve how I interact with people, but I'm bound to slip. So if you see me slip, please let me know so I can recognize it better myself in the future. Basically, if she just humbled herself to begin with, so much of this would have been over by now. I mean, just, she would have been forgotten. She probably had a much smaller channel too. But just be prepared to be attacked by Kane and minions. A couple of people have kind of made comments to me, stop and think, like someone mentioned how I was brave. I'm like, what do you mean I'm brave? I don't know. I guess, yeah, I can see Kay like being more capable of bite back than like Katie is. But see, the thing is, I've been doxxed and everything so many times with the anti-vax movement that I don't want to say that I don't think that there's much more anyone can do, because as soon as someone says that, you know, you find out there is much more. And if anyone is capable of showing me that there's much more, it's probably Kay. So I don't want to say that. But if it's just like my private information or personal information or whatever, I don't know. It's been out there for so long. The only thing no one's really been able to get is my phone number, but that's kind of by design. So. Yeah, they do suck. Although I did see someone shared a post with me today on Facebook that RFK Jr. has been banned from Instagram. I'm like, you know, for 4 years, I sat there in social media in this community, you know, this like vaccine advocacy community, just exposing and tackling the anti-vaxxers for 4 years. We did this, and it took one like insurrection at the Capitol for social media to suddenly think, maybe, I don't know, giving a platform to propaganda isn't the best idea. It's ridiculous. Oh my God, senior, yeah, the phone book. Oh my God, I remember that. I know I told the story before, but I'll tell it again. A few years ago, my kids and I, my younger two and I, were walking around. We were playing Pokemon, and we were just bullshitting, just talking away. And I mentioned how when I called Walmart earlier that day, I heard a busy signal for the first time in years. Like, I didn't even realize how long it'd been since I heard a busy signal until I heard a busy signal. And my kids just looked at me and they're like, "What's a busy signal?" I'm like, "Oh my God." Okay, lucky if I get Dax. Good luck finding me. I live 50 miles out. Where am I? Okay. I tell you, while working, like advocating whatever for vaccines or going up against the anti-vax movement, a lot of times we would come across, you know, just more prominent figures, and we would look into their past to see, just because you can kind of see, I don't know, just evidence or whatever, because it's they never come in there with like genuine, real intentions. It's usually to scam or in one way or the other. And there's always some sort of history of this when it comes to their online activity. So, I mean, we never went looking for anyone's home address or anything. None of that shit mattered. It was more about just damaging their reputation in the anti-vax community online. So if there was evidence of them scamming people or doing whatever online in the past, then that's what we went looking for. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah. And the one thing though, like people will use sock accounts or fake names or whatever aliases online, and that's fine, because if you use an alias, then you'll still establish a pattern or history with that alias, and that's all we care about. But the one thing that we could never get past or get information, just find anything, was when someone had like the last name Smith or Jones. Like if anyone has that name in their is their online moniker or whatever, forget it. We can't find shit, because it's like hiding in plain sight. It's impossible. And I thought of that because Domina says, "I'm kind of lucky if I get doxxed. Good luck finding me. I live 50 miles out in the middle of nowhere. My nearest town is 3 hours away, and it's only 500 people." And it's like, you can hide like out in the middle of nowhere, like you, or you can hide like in plain sight with everyone around. And it's like you're equally hidden. It's crazy. Who? Oh, RFK Jr. is banned from Instagram. He was President Kennedy's nephew. Was it Bobby Kennedy's son? So, yeah, he's a huge anti-vaxxer, and it's crazy too, because he is like so rational and logical and intelligent in so many other ways, and he's done so many other good things with his career and everything with his life. But just I don't know, this is gonna be like, I feel like it's a shame that with all the good he's done, that might be what he's known for. You know, I feel almost feel bad for him. Oh my God, yes, the dial tone from AOL. Oh my God. I remember when first had internet, I think it was like it was after I had my son. So I think it might have been like 1996 or 1997 is when I bought my first computer. And yeah, we had AOL, or no, I think we had Dreamscape and then AOL. I don't remember. But there were only so many like access numbers in the area, and it would try I live in Utica, and it would try all the Utica numbers. And back then you had regional long distance, which meant if I called the next town over, Rome, that was regional long distance. And the dial-up, when all the Utica numbers were busy, it would go into Rome. And we had that first month or whatever, there was like a $300 phone bill. It was crazy. Oh God. Oh yeah, no. Well, no, I said that RFK, yeah, RFK Jr. was JFK's nephew, and his brother Bobby Kennedy's son. That in 1994. Huh? See, I didn't have one though in 94. It was after I had my son, and I had him in 95. So it was I can't, what the hell, Gateway Computer too. Remember the big cow looking box? What's so old? Are you saying we're old? I'm a little old, yeah. Oh no, Little Red, you may have had a 94. I don't know. I mean, the internet's been around that long. Oh my God, AOL chat rooms. Oh my God, my favorite was the insult room. I loved that room. Yeah, Karen, they pull financial records, birth, marriage. See, when it comes to all this shit, go for it. I mean, I have those records. Well, except for criminal, I've never been arrested. Knock on wood. But, yeah, go for it. Hell, I mean, I don't even think you could like sell my information because like my credit's that bad. So I was saying we are old. Yeah. America Onliners. Yeah. Have you seen Pete Evans in here? Yeah. Oh yeah. From us. Is he the one from Australia? I think so. Pete Evans, Sue M was asking about. Yeah, he was just in the news recently. Was he kicked off of Facebook? It was something. I think it was in Australia's news though. I don't think it was like United States. Yeah, no, sorry, it wasn't JFK Jr. RFK Jr. I might have said JFK Jr. though at first. Just I might have goofed. Oh yes, he's running for. Wait, Pete Evans. Who the hell am I thinking of then from Australia? See, the page has a couple of admins from like New Zealand and Australia, so I hear a lot about the shit going on over there with the more prominent anti-vax figures or whatever there. I think he lost. Okay, yeah, it's amazing though how Facebook is finally cracking down. There's Larry Cook was the first one to go. Del Bigtree. I think Erin Elizabeth though is still there. She and her husband Mercola, and Modern Alternative Mom is still there. And a couple other groups that they shut down, but they shut down the really big groups. That's I guess important. But I mean, there's just the thing that worries me though too, because like with Parler gone and with Facebook clamping down and everything on all this, it's great and everything that they don't have a place to go. I mean, there's MeWe or whatever, but that's just really never taken off. I don't know why. It seems fine, but it hasn't. So I kind of wonder where they're going to go next. Because I mean, they're gonna just find another place to come together. They're going to lose a lot of numbers, and they're definitely not going to gain any numbers for a while. So there's that. But in about 10 years or whatever, they'll still be there. So I mean, it's not hitting the heart of the problem. It's just trying to prevent it for a little while. But I don't know how to check. I don't know how to handle the heart of the problem though. So. Oh, thank you so much, Karen Nash. It's after 4 a.m. here, and I have to get some sleep. Love you, girl. Keep doing you. Thank you. Is it real? Oh, 4 a.m. I'm guessing you're like in England? No. I don't know. Okay. Well, thank you. I'm sorry to have kept you up to 4. Yeah, they could go to Reddit. There's there's already our conspiracy, where a lot of them I know have they've been there for a while though, actually. But I see, I think they're actually 4chan. If any of them like really like learn how to use it, they could absolutely go to 4. Oh, that would make things a lot more difficult to track. Because the one good thing about Facebook is people are themselves, everyone, you can recognize people by their name and everything. So you know what they're doing or what they're up to. 4chan would make it impossible. But see, in Reddit though, I think that a lot of the Reddit users would really kind of, I don't know, take a piss at them, and I think that would kind of turn them off. But 4chan though, I see them being welcoming. But oh well. Okay, all right. I'm gonna call it a night too, because it's almost 3 a.m. here. So, but thank you everyone so much though for coming. I always, whenever I start a live stream, I always wonder, what if no one shows up? Yeah, so I have a video that should be out, I'm hoping sometime tomorrow, and I'll have another one out a couple days after that, I think. But other than that, I'm gonna try and do another live stream this weekend. So hopefully I'll see everyone then. So, all right, everyone, good night, and thank you so much for coming. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye.